Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and tonight we're broadcasting live to millions worldwide across YouTube, Rumble, and X. Yeah, the Gare Bear is here, Gen X. I saw that comment come through. Oh, I've heard that many times. Brings a smile to my face. Now, if you're watching right now, grab your phone, text the stream to 3 friends. Let's bypass big tech's algorithms together and spread the truth they don't want you to hear. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are living through historic times. This is only day 10 of Donald Trump's return to the White House, and what we're witnessing is nothing short of a revolution in American governance. And tonight, we've got a show that will blow the lid off what's really happening behind the scenes. Now, before we dive in, I want to remind our loyal viewers that we will be reading your super chats and your Rumble rants between segments. Your comments will be featured on the screen for the world to see, so don't hold back. And for our super chatters, you get priority because you're the backbone of this operation. And speaking of support, we need your help to keep this truth machine running. The links to donate are in the description below. And for those who want to wear their patriotism proudly, we have launched our exclusive MAG Avengers merchandise line at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Plus, we've rolled out YouTube channel membership. Each tier comes with special perks and exclusive access to the Next News Network team. Now, let's talk about what's coming up tonight. First, we're going to be diving into Trump's explosive executive orders that are sending shockwaves through Washington. 30,000 beds at Guantanamo Bay for illegal aliens? Well, that is just the beginning. Then we'll show you RFK Jr.'s absolute demolition of Senate Democrats. You won't believe what he revealed about Trump's plans to end America's chronic disease epidemic. The pharmaceutical industry is in full panic mode. We're also covering the global financial earthquake that's unfolding right now. The Bank of England, they're running out of gold. That's right. $82 billion in assets are now racing to New York, and we have the inside scoop on why. Wait until you hear about the DeepSeek AI bombshell that just wiped $600 billion from the market. Is this China's technological Pearl Harbor? We've got the details the mainstream media won't touch. And in an exclusive interview, we're joined by Colin from Noble Gold Investments. He's going to break down what's really happening with this unprecedented gold shortage and why silver might be the new oil. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. The deep state is on the run. We're here to bring you every delicious detail of their downfall. But we can only do it with your support. So hit that join button. Become a channel member. Grab some MAG Avengers merch and send in those super chats, and let's keep the truth train rolling. Remember, we're streaming live across all platforms, so make sure you are following us everywhere. YouTube, Rumble, and X. The mainstream media won't tell you what's really happening, but we will. So get ready, America. This is the Raw Feed, and we're just getting started. So hit the share button, and let's wake up the nation together. And now let's welcome you to the show. What's up, Craig in Nebraska, reporting for duty. Parmis Dax, yes, she can feel it in the air. Joe is here. Wants to go back to the gold standard. Duty to Rebel, SLM, Jimmer, Brenda Turner, Oliver Morgan. We've got Back the Blue Until It's You. We got Cisco. We got Jonas. We got Texas Rose, Larry Pickett, Scott Hart, Duty to Rebel, Sissy May, Maria Colin, Duty to Rebel, Jared Knopf. We got Larry Parts Change Your Life in Tulsa. Who else is here? Mary, Larry, Dala, Jen, Texas Rose, Carlix, and T. Who else is in the house? Come on, tell me who you are. Where you at? We've got CME Gordy, Larry Pickett, Jimmer, Derek Martin is at work. Don't get fired, man. Who else is in the house? Come on, come on. Chat it up, chat it up. I'm waiting to see. We've got Freedom Nugget 74. We got James Snowden. We got Golden Trumpet 24 down in Kentucky. Who else is here? Deplorable Garbage. What, Brian? How's the audio coming in, guys? We got Jimmer. We got Adam Alvarez in Long Island, New York. Rec T Gaming 4U2C. Dawn. Sure You. The Synthesizer. Pedro. Smoochy. Pothead Kenny. Mexico 24572. Larry. Gen X. Parts Changer. Cisco. Freedom Nugget. Matt. The gang is all here. What's up? Let's get into our first topic of the night because I know that's what you're waiting for. Let's go. What you're about to see isn't just news, it's history in the making. President Trump has just launched what might be the most aggressive executive action plan in modern presidential history. From ordering 30,000 beds at Guantanamo Bay for illegal aliens to banning radical gender surgeries for minors, he's sending a clear message. The days of left-wing social engineering are over. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. This is only the beginning. The radical left is in full meltdown mode because they know what's coming next. So stick around because we're going to show you exactly why they are terrified. So let me tell you something about the timing, though. As President Trump dismantles the radical agenda, something unprecedented is happening in the global markets. Central banks are dumping dollars and stockpiling gold at record rates. They see what's coming. Look at China's recent gold buying spree. They're not reporting the real numbers because they don't want you to know. But you can protect yourself. Noble Gold Investments, they understand that gold isn't just a commodity, it's freedom from government overreach. So visit nextnewsgold.com, and with a qualified account, you can receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins. That's nextnewsgold.com. It is linked down in the description. History made today. President Trump addressing the world. My first week set records, 350 executive actions. Buckle up.
In our first week in office, we set records taking over 350 executive actions. That's not been done before. And it has reportedly been the single most effective opening week of any presidency in history. And we want to keep it that way. We want to keep it going.
Let's go. Let's go. He has been waiting 4 years for this moment. We've got this. President Trump announced executive order to start sending illegal aliens to Guantanamo Bay. That's right, baby. This is massive.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back. So we're going to send them out to Guantanamo.
Wow, the worst.
This will double our capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error. An
unforced error, but that was all because of Joe Biden. President Trump ordering the Defense Department to prepare 30,000 beds in Guantanamo Bay to house the worst of the worst. Also, John Fetterman celebrating the Laken Riley Act being signed into law. This is his official statement. It's wild that we're even giving this guy any airtime, but he's stunning a lot of people these days. I believe in a secure border, he says, creates a more secure nation, and it's just common sense. I believe a stronger border is fully compatible with my commitment to immigration. I also believe our nation should protect our dreamers. I believe this nation is tired of leaders in D.C. prioritizing fighting over governing. I believe Pennsylvania elected me to fight for a better Commonwealth and to work with both sides of the aisle. Wow. And now people celebrating that the Laken Riley Act officially into law.
Laken Riley signed this in honor of Laken Riley. Come on up here, some of the people that we love that have been so instrumental. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President, government funding. Can you take a quick question on government funding?
And the press already jumps in. Shut up. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got more news. President Trump says any federal worker, we covered this the other day, who doesn't show up to work in person by February 6th will be fired. As you know, they sent out a memo to all federal workers, and they said, hey, you know what? Just reply to this email saying resign, and you will get 8 months severance pay, a nice little package. Bye-bye. A little golden parachute for all those people. It would save $100 billion, apparently, if all these people would just resign, right? Well, apparently, the fact that they sent this email to every single person in government has got a lot of people up in arms. That's right. There's lawsuits now being filed. They're triggered inside Washington because the president can email everybody in the executive branch. Can you believe that? Yeah. Oh, he should go through the proper channels. No, he doesn't have to go to the proper channels. He's the president of the frickin' United States. Let's listen.
That we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID, but they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful. As you understand, a lot of people are getting paychecks, but they're actually working other jobs. So they'll have to prove that to us, that they weren't. In any event, we're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient. And that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly. We have
the deep
informed
state
the federal workforce
is getting drained. It is beautiful to witness. They are cutting the fat themselves. What else have we got here? We have some remarks. Oh, check this out. Liz Churchill writes, "This is what winning looks like. Security physically removed the USDA Phyllis Fong as she refused to accept that she was fired by President Trump. USDA Inspector General escorted out of her office after defying the White House." What do you think? You live there? Libs of TikTok also bringing it up. Inspector General Phyllis Fong reportedly escorted out of her office by security. Bye-bye. Yeah. And here we have, this is the new White House press secretary. What has she got to say? Let's listen.
Question about these buyouts. You've been describing it as this effort to get folks to return to work. The union that represents federal workers, though, says this isn't a voluntary buyout. They say this is a purge of people that don't agree with the president. What's your response?
That's absolutely false. This is a suggestion to federal workers that they have to return to work. And if they don't, then they have the option to resign. And this administration is very generously offering to pay them for 8 months. 6% of the federal workforce in the city actually shows up to work. That's unacceptable. We're all here at work at the office. There are law enforcement officers and teachers and nurses across the country who showed up to the office today. People in this city need to do the same. It's an overwhelming overwhelmingly popular policy with people outside of Washington, D.C. President campaigned on this, and his administration's keeping the promise.
Quick question to follow up on that. How much more is it going to cost? Because a lot of the space has now been given away, leases have expired, new purchases need to take place. What will it cost to bring all those workers back to create the new offices they need?
It's going to save tens of millions of dollars, because this government has been wasting millions of dollars on empty office space. That is beautiful. I mean, look at the buildings in this city. They're gorgeous. They've been here for decades, and the American people are paying for them. And so we're going to make good use of the office space in this city by having these federal workers return to work. I would also add that the order simply directs federal agencies to come up with a return to work plan. And so this isn't a purge, and this isn't forcing every single individual in Washington, D.C. to return to work, only if they are able and, of course, within the law.
One more quick one, if I can, about the defense secretary right now. We heard that Pete Hegseth has now taken away the security protections that General Mark Milley has. Ahead of his confirmation, Pete Hegseth said that his priority would be focusing on the warriors within the military as his number one priority, not politics. Is this putting politics before the warrior workforce by focusing on what seems to be punitive in the eyes of many critics?
No, the first action that Pete Hegseth took when he showed up at the Pentagon was telling that the warriors that work within that building, and most importantly our service members who serve this country in uniform, that DEI would no longer be a part of the United States military. We're focused on lethality, we're focused on strength again, and we're focused on rebuilding our military, which is something we haven't seen over the past 4 years. As for General Milley, the president's position on this remains the same as it does for John Bolton and the other individuals. He doesn't believe that these people should have the right to have security clearances and private details for the rest of their lives. Again, taxpayers are funding it, and the individuals you're mentioning are quite wealthy, I understand, so they can get their own private security if they wish.
I had a couple questions just about the freeze on federal loans and grants. What will the report and review process look like when it goes to OMB for review? And also, now that a federal judge is temporarily blocked in, what are the plans moving forward on that? Because it seems like that Q&A memo that was released yesterday as well was trying to kind of explain a lot of the widespread confusion that a lot of these different organizations who rely on that funding had. So I'm just on both of those questions.
Yeah, well, that's why the Q&A was released, so that there is no confusion. There's no confusion within this building. I know there is, again, a lot amongst the media and those who don't seem to just be able to read a memo and take it for what it is. It's very clear. This is a temporary pause on federal funding to ensure that tax dollars are not funding things that this president has signed out of law. So the Green New Deal, DEI, etc. As I said repeatedly yesterday, and I would like to double down on the fact that Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, which I'd like to be clear on that today, welfare benefits, individual assistance, food stamps, etc. will not be impacted. So the American people should not be confused about this. And in fact, they should be grateful that this administration is actually valuing their hard-earned tax dollars.
Well, what about the federal, what is the response, though, to the federal judge who's temporarily blocked this? That's expected to play out in court on Monday. What are your guys' plans regarding that? And also, just going back to the review process, what does that look like?
Everything this administration does is within the confines of the law, and so we're prepared to fight this battle in court.
Caroline,
Thank you, Caroline.
about the TBS? Is it true that it will be revoking?
And there she goes. Like a boss, she's actually handling it. And now, we have an emotional moment as Laken Riley's mother thanks President Trump for his efforts. It's about time.
People, we also want to thank President Trump for the promises he made to us. He said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Laken. And he hasn't. He's a man of his word. We trust that he will fight for the American people. Most importantly, I want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without his sacrifices, Laken's story would have ended on that horrific day that she was taken from us. But because of him, we can continue living knowing that we will see Laken again. There's no amount of change that will ever bring back our precious Laken. Our hope moving forward is that her life saves lives. We're so thankful that her passion for helping others and her legacy for doing good in the name of Jesus Christ will carry on. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Oh, man. Her life is not in vain. Laken Riley Act is officially in the registry of law. Oh, my goodness. Jeff Younger, President Trump saved my son. He said, I will use all possible avenues to get my son off of those drugs. The fight is not over. Protecting children is the new law. Finally, Robert Malone, Kenya, reporting. Oh, you see, Kenya wants to exit the World Health Organization. I wonder what the World Health Organization caused them to do in Kenya. Let's take a look.
Campaign to creating things that can destroy the sovereignty of Africa. We cannot afford to trust WHO anymore, Your Excellency. And I'll just mention a few things that have caused great concern to us. In 2014-2015, WHO brought tetanus eradication campaign in our country. It was a campaign to eradicate neonatal tetanus, babies who are born who eventually get tetanus. And the vaccine that was used is a different type of a tetanus vaccine that is a fertility regulating vaccine, where they take tetanus and combine it with a hormone called human chorionic gonadotropin that supports pregnancy. And when you inject a woman with that vaccine, she produces antibodies against that hormone and therefore is rendered sterile.
Oh, they don't like what the World Health Organization brought over there. They don't trust them anymore. Oh, man, this is beautiful. So many people following suit. Peter Sweden, the World Health Organization, is now freezing hiring amidst an increasing acute financial situation after Trump pulled the USA out of the organization. Raise your hand if you agree this is good news. Also, we got this from Thomas Massey. If you could snap your fingers and get us out of NATO today, would you? Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, asked the post on X, and Massey said, you betcha. Get out of NATO. Charlie Kirk, they call Tulsi Gabbard a Russian asset just like they did Trump. They say she's an Assad sympathizer. She's not. They say she's unqualified. She is. They say she's soft on Iran, and she shares Trump's view. I debunk the smears one by one. Stop the nonsense and confirm Tulsi Gabbard. We've got this from Elon Musk 11 hours ago. He's quote tweeting Donald Trump Jr. Every attack on Tulsi Gabbard is a smear concocted by those desperate to prevent the change voters demanded in November. And he says, Elon Musk says, absolutely. Elon Musk, one of the biggest voices in this administration now. Charlie Kirk, stop the nonsense, confirm Tulsi Gabbard. Also, this is good news. This is from the press conference at the briefing room yesterday, but this is absolutely critical and great news about Catholic charities and their funding getting stripped.
Does the president intend to permanently cut off funding to NGOs that are bringing illegal foreign nationals to the country, such as Catholic charities?
I am actually quite certain that the president signed an executive order that did just that, and I can point you to that.
One more clarity.
Yep. No more games. Catholic Charities is no longer going to aid and abet the criminals coming into this border illegally. Joe Rogan heaping praise on J.D. Vance after his effing amazing CBS News interview. Listen to Joe Rogan.
So good. Did you see the CBS interview with J.D. Vance?
Just one clip.
Fucking amazing.
Oh, so I should watch the whole thing?
Oh my God, it's a masterclass. He is
he's
impressive. So good.
He is really good.
Has
he been on your show?
Yeah, he's great. Thank God for that guy. He's so good at dismantling those dopey people.
Yeah.
And just breaking down, like she was like, this is a country built on immigrants. He's like, yes, that doesn't mean that 240 years later we have to have the dumbest immigration policy possible.
Well, that's
Did you see this?
That was an amazing moment. Here we have Thomas Massie introducing the bill to end the Federal Reserve. It's just sitting there. We must pass end the Fed. So this was looks like a screenshot of Thomas Massie 5/16/2024 when he introduced End the Fed, Federal Reserve Board Abolition Act, H.R. 8421. Americans would be better off if the Federal Reserve did not exist. The Fed devalues our currency by monetizing the debt, causing inflation. And there it is. There's the picture of the bill. So we know that the IRS is potentially going to go away. Also, the External Revenue Service coming into play. Well, why not just end the Fed at the same time? We've got this NPR, left NPR reporting the astronauts aren't stranded to frame both Trump and Elon as liars. Right NPR reporting from September on the astronauts' new February return date, characterizing the astronauts as stranded. Oh, isn't that interesting how a narrative can change from NPR? This is what they're talking about. Trump asked SpaceX to get 2 stranded ISS astronauts. They're not stranded. Okay, yeah, they are stranded, thanks to Boeing. And then we have this, the stranded pair. You see? Yes, how much the narrative changes. Here is the Kenyan president laughing at countries that are upset over Trump's statement that he will no longer provide unlimited funding to foreign governments.
Yeah. Why are you crying? People the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya, ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves.
Wow.
Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
Think about what's happening now on the global stage. President Trump freezing payouts to countries across the world. And here we have the Kenyan president going, well, I guess we have to rely on ourselves. Like all the international welfare, it's time for all of them to go ahead and figure it out. And that's stop being dependent upon government, U.S. government, sending you billions and billions of dollars in aid. It's handicapping these governments. And this is a welcome change, and it's so long overdue. Holy cow. And, of course, the World Health Organization freezing hiring. That's such great news. Elon Musk, the president of the United States, has asked SpaceX to bring home the 2 astronauts stranded on the space station as soon as possible. We will do so. Terrible that the Biden administration left them there so long. You know, I remember when this story broke and those astronauts were stranded, and I'm like, call Elon Musk. Call Elon. He'll get them down in 24 hours. And I'm reading this, I'm going, wait, they're still there? Like, there's been no news about these astronauts stranded. Joe Biden stranded astronauts in space. Think about that. He stranded them. And it takes Donald Trump getting reelected to pick up the phone and say, Elon, can you just get these guys down, please? Yes, sir. I'll get my rocket ship and we will go and we will get them. Unbelievable. Trump signing an executive order to restrict gender care for those under 19. That is great news. President Trump has called on Elon Musk to launch a SpaceX mission to save the stranded astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. Elon Musk has given the green light to the rescue operation. Here is the post on Truth Social. I've just asked Elon Musk and SpaceX to go get the two brave astronauts who've been virtually abandoned in space by the Biden administration. They've been waiting for many months on the space station. Elon will soon be on his way. Hopefully, all will be safe. Good luck, Elon. I want to see Elon in a spacesuit. That's what I want to see him go up there and do it personally. I think he would. The alpha movement is alive and well. Soy boy betas and cucks are so last administration. Oh, yeah. And here we have, oh, look at that. You can see that. Look at that. You can already see that's the outline of Donald Trump's hair on Mount Rushmore. Well, I hope it happens. I hope it happens. President Trump also signing an executive order to deport pro-Hamas students on visas that break the law. I mean, if you're here and you're getting an education and you are actively supporting terrorist organizations overseas, and you're marching through the streets of your university, bye-bye. I am thankful that President Trump is doing that. President Trump is expected to sign an executive order barring federal funding to any K-12 school teaching CRT or radical gender ideology. The president will also reinstate the 1776 Commission to encourage patriotism and educate students about the true founding of America. Trump had previously established the commission in his first term, but Biden abolished it within days of taking office. What is up with that? How ridiculous. No, we can't have a 1776 commission. Nope. Let's see, Kentucky Kernels of Truth. It was created to counter the revisionist history of CRT, which falsely paints America as fundamentally racist. It's about teaching facts, not activism. Bob Snyder says, as a former educator, I'm extremely happy to hear this. CRT has no place in schools and only sows division and hatred. It is anti-American. Actual education has been reinstated. No more teaching kids to hate their country. Patriotism is back in the curriculum. Please, the UK needs someone like Trump right now. Well, good luck with that. You're going to have to start your own revolution. President Trump, of course, saying that no, the federal workers, you don't show up, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Children cannot consent, and that is why there are laws protecting minors. Those who perpetuated this evil should be imprisoned for life. Trump signing an executive order banning surgery for minors in the United States. This is also great news. The White House also confirming, Jackie Heinrich 7 hours ago, confirming to Fox that the White House received over 7,400 new media requests over the past 24 hours. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt announced an additional seat for journalists in the briefing room at her first news conference Tuesday, unveiling the rotating new media spot close to her podium and encouraging independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover the White House. Well, I have some interesting news for you. Yeah, I filled out the form and also sent an email from a contact that we have at the White House who is in the communications department there. Sent an email directly to that. I mean, we bypassed the whole online web form thing. Sent an email direct, got an immediate response, and they sent me a form to fill out the form. I filled it out. Immediately, I get a response back. I mean, this person was on the ball. Normally, you think you got to wait days and days for a government response. Well, this was, boom, it was fast. I was actually quite surprised. Get an email back saying thank you. And if this is your first time filling out this form, you need to be here in person on a specific date. And I said, okay, well, tell me more about that. Here's the form returned. They sent me another form that I had to fill out so that I could get access to the press entrance of the White House. Friends, when I got these emails, man, I literally broke down in tears because just envisioning that moment of walking through the White House press entrance onto those hallowed grounds after 20 plus years of fighting in the trenches. And finally, I will be going there to do the work that needs to be done to get my White House hard pass. And I'm so honored to be able to tell you guys that today for the first time. So I'm going to be going to the White House in a couple of weeks. And I told Mark Dice, I said, hey man, I said, you got to fill out this form, check it out, you know. And I told him that I know I won't even be able to contain myself on that day. And I can't even contain myself here because it's been so long, so hard. You know, when the White House invited all those influencers during the first administration, I was shocked that we weren't asked to attend. I think they were just too focused on Twitter accounts and that kind of thing. But, you know, it's been 4 years. We've made a lot of contacts and gone to a lot of events and met a lot of people. And finally, you know, my buddy, who we went down to Trump Doral, we all made contacts there. And everybody's just been rising up these last 4 years. And finally, you know, you never know who you're going to meet at these events. And that contact paid off. We emailed them, got the correct contact for the White House, and made it happen. So I'm just overjoyed at this. And it's going to be on Valentine's Day week. So I intend to do some live broadcasting from, I don't know if I'll do live broadcasting from the White House grounds itself. I'm still waiting to find out if I'm able to bring any camera equipment. And but I do intend to do something from the hotel room. We're going to get all that technology sorted out. We'll do some raw feed shows from there and do our reporting from there. But I'm really excited for this moment, and it's really long overdue. So much is happening in this first 10 days, and I'm overjoyed. I don't even know how to contain myself with all the news, trying to keep up with it. It's overwhelming, but it's exciting, it's invigorating, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting, and we're going to keep bringing the truth to the American people, because that is what our commitment is to you here at the Next News Network. So what we witnessed today is nothing short of revolutionary. President Trump isn't just signing executive orders, he's systematically dismantling the administrative state that's been suffocating American freedom. From targeting CRT in schools to protecting our children from radical gender ideology, these aren't just policy changes, they're a direct assault on the left's control mechanisms. And with 30,000 beds being prepared at Guantanamo Bay, the message is clear. America's sovereignty is non-negotiable. But here's what I want to know. And I want you to put this in the comments. Why do you think the mainstream media is desperately trying to ignore these executive orders instead of reporting on them? What are they afraid that we will figure out? Show off your patriot pride with our exclusive Mag Avengers line. The ultimate statement piece for true believers, available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Man. Yeah, we had a very, very exciting day today, guys. Very exciting day. And, you know, aside from sorting out some of the technical problems that we've had here, and getting all that sorted out, working with our new producer on the workflows and getting everything organized. As you guys have seen, we're starting earlier today. We have been starting earlier the last couple of weeks, so that's all thanks to Todd. And I want to just say, getting that email from the White House today was like a shocker. It was just a shocker. And it just like really, it made it real. Everything that we've been working towards, everything that we've been reporting on, the victory of this election suddenly became absolutely real as I was writing an email back to the White House. And the speed at which they responded was amazing. Wow. Okay. Let's see what we got here. I think there were some super chats that came through. Let's take a look. $15 in super chats so far. Synthesizer Grouch. I haven't slept in a week. Is anyone else mesmerized? I'm literally tired of winning, but I don't want to miss anything. Parmas Dax 5 minutes ago, sending $5. Best of luck on your trip to Washington, Gary. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, we got some more news to get to. Let's rock and roll. Sorry, I'm just getting all choked up when I think about all these things that are happening. Okay. If you've been wondering what real border enforcement looks like, well, tonight you are going to find out. ICE raids are sweeping across sanctuary cities, and the political elite are in absolute panic mode. Governor Pritzker, that's right, my governor, is literally helping illegals change their names to avoid deportation. But here's what's really happening. Trump's administration isn't just enforcing the law. They're dismantling every sanctuary city apparatus. The Marines are deploying concertina wire, while liberal governors spend your tax dollars defending criminal aliens. It's a tale of two Americas, and tonight we're going to show you which side is winning. And while we witness the historic transformation of our immigration system, let's talk about transformation you can see in the mirror. Just like Trump is building America's borders, BioTrust Collagen is rebuilding your body's natural defenses against aging. A groundbreaking 2024 study shows that daily collagen supplementation can dramatically improve skin elasticity and reduce wrinkles. This isn't just any collagen. It's a scientifically formulated blend of 5 key types sourced from premium sources. Now visit healthwithgary.com for an exclusive 51% off deal. That's healthwithgary.com for your transformation. It is linked down below. Okay, big news on the immigration front. It is only day 10 in President Trump's administration. The deportation force is in full play. The border war is continuing. Tom Homan is leading the charge. Remember when those border agents got fired on by the cartels? Well, that was a very, very bad move. They have only upped the game, and the reaction is going to be devastating for the cartels. Here is now Guantanamo Bay is open for business. Finally, listen to this. Here is DHS Secretary Noem and border czar Tom Homan taking questions on Trump sending illegals to Guantanamo Bay.
Mr. Homan and Secretary Noem, can we ask you a few questions here, please? Would you guys
What's
chat
up,
with
girl?
us for a few moments? You are both the top immigration advisors to President Trump, in addition to Stephen Miller. He just announced that he's signing an executive order to put 30,000 detention beds at Guantanamo Bay. I know, Mr. Homan, you've talked about needing more beds, but how exactly would that work, and when?
Okay, that's Caitlin Collins. I can hear her voice. She's the one. She's the antagonist from CNN. She's the one who's basically the new Jim Acosta in a dress. Okay. So she's asking the question. I'll just roll it back a minute. Just want to make it clear so you knew who was asking that question. Let's go.
To put 30,000 detention beds at Guantanamo Bay. I know, Mr. Homan, you've talked about needing more beds, but how exactly would that work, and when do you expect it to open?
You know, that is something that the White House is working on, to use resources that we currently have there at Guantanamo Bay. So we'll go through the process. The worst of the worst is where that could be utilized. So that potential is there. We know we need the infrastructure. We're going after these guys.
But who would run that? DHS? DHS or the Pentagon?
What you probably don't know, there's already a migrant center there. It's been there for decades. So we're just going to expand upon the existing migrant center.
How would logistics work for that? How would you get migrants down to Guantanamo?
We fly them to Guantanamo. Coast Guard, they encounter people in maritime, they can take them straight to Guantanamo Bay. The worst of the worst, the significant public safety threats, we can fly them.
We're doing it. We're already doing it.
Would that be more expensive?
We're building it out and using more resources.
What is the worst?
Mr. Homan, what kind of Secretary Noem, what kind of civilian oversight would there be?
Civilian oversight?
Yeah.
The current civilian oversight that we have in our federal government today. We had an election in November that clearly said the American people don't want these criminals and dangerous individuals on our streets anymore. We're taking care of it at the federal.
What's your message for Polish Americans who voted for President Trump and may have neighbors or family members who are undocumented, who are illegally here?
Listen, the law applies to everybody. It applies to American citizens. It applies to people who come into this country illegally. You will be held accountable for breaking our laws.
Will you focus on people
Your question earlier,
relations at all?
ICE.
Go ahead, Mr.
ICE has the highest detention standards in the industry. You can't find another state, federal, local, or city has higher detention standards than ICE. So every facility, including GITMO, will have the highest.
So ICE would be running it. That's actually really helpful. So ICE would be running and would be staffing that.
That's our migrant center run out of Miami.
And then
Isn't
I hope
ICE?
you all are spending your time today covering Laken Riley and her family and this bill and the tools that it's going to give to make sure that families don't have to go through that again.
Well, on his
We're covering that. One question that we'd like to ask is if you have a sense of how much money it will cost, how much money will be invested in this
bill or the facility?
In the facility at Guantanamo Bay that the president
on that
announced.
with reconciliation and appropriators in the House.
Are you finishing?
And then the actions we're thinking on those
Isn't it ICE's policy to house people close to their families?
Remaining Guantanamo detainees.
So it's going to go.
Well, it shouldn't be too difficult to find beds in Guantanamo because Joe Biden let out all the terrorists. Here we have some footage. Eric Darty posting this. Border Patrol scaring off illegal aliens. They run back into Mexico after Trump's people show up. So it looks like we have a massive border operation taking place. Oh. There you have it, right there.
You have
Peeking.
these Border Patrol agents right here doing their job. And then you got the criminals up there overlooking what the agents are doing. Those are the scouts. But then there's also several illegal aliens that are attempting to cross up there. And then there's, where is it? There's more illegal aliens right behind that little hill. Right behind that obelisk right there. There's a bunch of illegal aliens trying to run across. And then you got this guy up here who is a spotter overlooking the whole deal. More agents are coming through, baby. He's going up there. I just want you guys to check out the prompt response of all of the Border Patrol agents now seeing those criminals up there. They're all going. Hell yeah. Look at that. They ran.
Yeah, baby. They ran. There's a new sheriff in town. Here's more video. The U.S. Marines fortifying the border in California. This was posted by Eric Darty, also from the U.S. Northern Command. U.S. Northern Command getting the word out right now. Here we have Governor Pritzker. He is apparently allowing illegals to change their names to avoid ICE. Let's take a look at what Ben Berquam is saying.
So that they talk about salt in the wound, Steve. Governor Pritzker not only is not allowing these guys in the jail to get these guys, he just announced that they're able to change their names. They're getting driver's licenses and able to change their names so that they can hide more easily from ICE. These guys are traitors. That's what they are. They need to be held arrested as traitors to this country.
I hope, and because I know this in the Palisades out in Southern California, you're having a red pill moment
where a lot of these progressives now realize what they brought on themselves and how, when you see Bass and Newman, how disastrous, and they're not going to change. And you're going to see a lot of MAGA. I hope folks, I know downstate Illinois is MAGA territory, but I hope folks in Chicago see exactly what's going on. People there for your public safety, trying to get the worst of the worst out and being absolutely confronted and thwarted by the mayor, people around the mayor, and the governor, and they're doing it for political reasons. This is why Chicago is so important. You got to force it here. And Ben, what you said is so important for the audience. Every tool in the toolbox President Trump's going to use. Every tool in the toolbox.
Every tool is coming out. And the teachers in Houston have their own tools, handing out these cards to students who are in our country illegally in the event that ICE shows up at the school. You have constitutional rights. Do not open the door if an immigration agent is knocking. Do not answer any questions. Do not sign anything. Give this card to the agent. If you do not, I do not wish to speak. I do not want to answer your questions. I don't give you permission, blah, 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 blah. So my question is, do they have constitutional rights if they're not U.S. citizens? Does the Constitution extend to those people? I don't think it does. I mean, I guess they can try to make it apply to them through the color of this card, but we'll see. And we got this. Bye. ICE baby enforcement update of January 29, 2025, 1,016 arrests, 814 detainers lodged. So this is a number that is growing by the day. Here we have excellent footage of the very end of the U.S.-Mexico border where San Diego, California, and Tijuana, Mexico meet. You can see that anyone who wants to simply just swim around the ocean portion of the border wall could easily be able to do so. Watch this.
Actually met a guy here who told me. So I'm here at the U.S.-Mexico border. I'm in Mexico, in Tijuana, and on the other side is San Diego, California. It's right on the beach. So this is the border wall here, and it runs all the way into the ocean there. And you can see it goes out a little bit, and then it's just nothing and water. And so I actually met a guy here who told me that a few years ago, there wasn't this wall here. They were doing some construction, and so they didn't have it. And he was saying people would cross all the time. They would just go over there. And you can actually, if you go to the other side, you can see the Customs and Border Patrol. And so they would just apprehend people. And that was their goal. They wanted to be apprehended, wanted to claim asylum, go through the system. But he said that actually for the past few months, nobody's really been crossing. But he said a few months ago and year prior to that, when this thing was up, he said every single day you'd see people coming into the ocean here and then crossing around and going into the U.S. And so it's really interesting in Tijuana. It's very lively on this side of the border, really exciting place, fun beach atmosphere. It's called Playas. And then over here in the U.S., there's absolutely nothing. It's just the wall, and then there's like a nature preserve on the other side. And so San Diego would be way down there, just past this beach. You've got to walk quite a bit, but you got the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. They are right up there on that hill over there. And this is the United States. I'm stuck in Mexico here, and that's what's going on. Pretty crazy to see this wall here running right out into the ocean.
How ridiculous.
But that's the reality here on the border. So I'm here at the U.S.-Mexico border. I'm in
reality right now. We got more to get to here. Let's take a look. Red Apple Media has this. They say there are millions of people standing in line doing things the right way. Border czar Real Tom Holman explains why removing illegal aliens from American soil is top priority. Let's listen.
And if we there are some that feel like, why would you take out people who have proven for a while now that they can be an asset to the community and are not criminals?
Well, look, we're doing a case-by-case basis, but as you said, it's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's not okay to violate our laws. And if we don't have consequences for that, you're never going to solve the Southwest border crisis. That sounds cruel, but we will never solve the crisis. They'll keep coming. Women keep being sexually assaulted by the cartels. People continue to die across that border. Illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. So we have to secure the border. We have to send a message that you cannot enter this country illegally. There are millions of people standing in line, doing things the right way, taking their tests, paying their fees, to being part of the greatest nation on earth.
There are some that feel like, why would...
We are the greatest nation on earth. That's why so many people are trying to get in here, but they got to do it the right way. The Trump administration states that it will cancel student visas of all Hamas sympathizers on college campuses. That is according to the White House. And here we have, yes, I meme, therefore I am. Holy crap. Johnson, Mayor Brandon Johnson. I can't believe this guy. He actually said it's not his job to protect Chicago residents from violent criminal illegals. Hear it from his own mouth.
Tom Holman showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
Because that's their job. That is their job. The federal
Your
government
job's not to keep
has
the
a
people of Chicago
responsibility
safe?
to make sure that individuals who are undocumented, who have been charged with, convicted of a crime, it is the federal government's responsibility to do their part and uphold the law. Our local police department, along with our public health department, along with our other sister agencies, are working to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And as we've stated repeatedly, those critical investments, you continue to see the results of those investments as violent crime continues to fall in Chicago.
Tom Holman showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
I mean, a great question there. That was Robert Kelly. He's a local reporter here. I know him personally, great guy, does amazing work. And here we have Libs of Chicago. This is a new account. I just saw this story on Fox 32. There was a big banner on the bottom of the screen that said, ICE raid in Elgin. Come to find out it was U.S. Marshals looking for a family member who is wanted. We played video footage of that raid here on this channel the other day. So this is an update. It wasn't actually an ICE raid. It was U.S. Marshals. And there was a wanted individual in a family. So initial reports were incorrect. And that is what the media does, though. Here's a Chicago judge who released a Venezuelan migrant felon caught during an ICE immigration raid back onto the streets. He's about to walk out of federal jail any minute and return to his girlfriend. Oh, how nice. This looks like a local report.
Federal prosecutor. One of the Venezuelan migrants swept up in immigration raids around Chicago this weekend is about to walk out of federal jail any minute and return to his girlfriend and her parents in the suburbs. Some of these cases have been sealed, but the I-team was in federal court as Edward Martinez Cermeño stepped before a judge and pleaded his case for release. Walking the halls of Chicago's federal court building, Maria and Ruben are still trying to shake off the trauma of Sunday night. Much like these raids across the country, the Venezuelan couple says immigration agents stormed their Schaumburg home. Speaking only in Spanish, Maria told our Michelle Gallardo. She said they were pointing their guns at me and my husband. They knocked him to the ground. Federal agents carried out Maria's daughter's boyfriend, 24-year-old Edward Martinez Cermeño. Federal prosecutors say Martinez Cermeño crossed the border illegally in western Texas in 2023 and made his way to the Chicago area. That charge is merely a misdemeanor, not a felony. They just left without an explanation. They didn't show us any documents. We were scared. We were all in crisis. Tuesday, his appointed public defender told a judge Martinez Cermeño had served as a police officer in Venezuela. Cook County court records show Chicago police arrested Edward Martinez Cermeño for a felony retail theft in January 2024, and he failed to appear for court, triggering a warrant for his arrest. As Martinez Cermeño stood in federal court Tuesday, White House officials were driving home President Trump's message.
If you are an individual, a foreign national, who illegally enters the United States of America, you are, by definition, a criminal.
Martinez Cermeño's police record reflects a non-violent criminal charge, not a conviction. And with a pending court date and asylum hearing set for April 2026, the judge ordered Martinez Cermeño released immediately.
Yeah, it's time for him to go. No. And they let him go. That's Chicago for you, though. They don't care about you. And here we have more. Here we have more from Chicago. If Chicago mayor was honest, he would have admitted the Trump White House is targeting Chicago to challenge the legality of its sanctuary city law. But because the mayor is a liar and compulsive race baiter, he implied Trump is targeting Chicago. Why? Because Mayor Johnson is black.
Story of Chicago. Follow-up question. The vast majority of those who are unauthorized immigrants in this country are in California, Texas, and Florida. Why do you think that the Trump administration is focusing in on Chicago?
Look, I've expressed this. Thank you for that question. I've expressed the love story of Chicago on multiple occasions. I'll do it again. A black Haitian immigrant fell in love with a Potawatomi woman and established a trade post at the bank of the river, understanding that Chicago one day will be the global capital of the world. It's a city that immigrants from around the world have come to find this place as refuge. Whether you are an Italian immigrant, an Irish, Polish, a Jewish immigrant, descendants of slaves who migrated from the South. My family's a part of the second migration. Like we're the soul, that's the soul of Chicago. We have one of the most diverse economies in the world, where not one industry captures more than 14% of our overall GDP. We're continuing to invest in all of our public assets, $20 billion of new investments. Those are reasons of why he should pay attention to Chicago. And if the administration is committed to helping with those investments, to grow more affordable housing units, to grow businesses, that's what we're doing. But I will say, to some extent, I think the attention on Chicago is because of where we have stood historically. And this is the place where we said, keep hope alive, that launched a civil rights leader onto a national stage, the first black woman to serve in the United States Senate. Electricity came to life here, skyscrapers right here in the city of Chicago. And now we have investment on the southeast side of Chicago for the first time in 32 years. So there's a lot to behold. I think he is showing a real odd way of being attracted to our city. If he loves our city, he should just figure out how to work with folks. And I think the last thing that I'll say.
He loves Chicago. He has a building in Chicago, Brandon Johnson. And he wants to clean up Chicago because you aren't doing it. It has nothing to do with who founded it or that the civil rights movement was birthed there and that Barack Obama emerged from the streets. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with restoring law and order and making Chicago great again because you are a failure. Okay, let's see. He's got a few more seconds here.
If he was really serious about transforming our immigration system in this country, he would pass a law. There's a bipartisan law right now on the Senate side that would provide more border support, more judges to move asylum cases faster, to create pathways to citizenship.
Oh, come on, Johnson. You're talking about more federal bureaucracy. That doesn't solve the problem. Boots on the ground solve the problem. Oh, we're going to have more judges so that we can get the backlog of the 20 million people who've all applied for asylum and abused the system so they can get through the system quicker. No, that doesn't solve the problem, Johnson.
Not doing that because he wants to stoke fear into people so that he can ultimately behave as the supreme existence, which is quite dangerous because when you have a leader that believes that they are supreme and above the law, there's some real nasty history that demonstrates how damning that can be for the people on the planet.
Yeah, there is actually precedent. There is. Just look at the Biden administration. Above the law, pardoning his own son, pardoning his family members for crimes that they haven't been accused of yet. Going back to 2014, pardoning Anthony Fauci, Adam Schiff, Mark Milley, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. Yeah, we do have precedent, and we understand how damaging it can be when an executive abuses their authority. But President Trump is actually exercising his authority under the law to clean up your shit. Brandon Johnson, you're a joke. You're a freaking joke. Okay, so speaking of jokes, we have this. The View's Sonny Hassan falsely claims that being in the country illegally isn't a crime. Yeah.
Yeah, should be focused on themselves. But 87% support deporting criminal undocumented migrants.
Yes, I don't know anybody in the world. I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know anybody.
That's where you should be focused.
Can I say something? Because, we keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented. I also want to make the...
Oh, is that right? Maybe it's because there's more American citizens than there are illegals. So just by the proportionate distribution, yeah, there would be more crimes committed by American citizens than illegals. Okay? Wow. I can't believe she even said that. Well, we are watching the clucks on The View flap their beaks.
Citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented. I also want to make the point that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So to call people illegals is, in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist. And I do. And incorrect.
You got to hand it to the clucks on The View. They never cease to amaze us here. Pete Hegseth writes, "This is only the beginning. We will get 100% operational control of our nation's border. It's about time." Quote tweeting the Department of Defense, where he now heads. And this quote says, "This initial deployment of 1,500 active duty personnel brings the total military Title X forces along the border to nearly 4,000 personnel." Yes, baby. America is back. And check this out. I saw this late last night. The left lying again. Here is the correct information. If anyone tries to use this photo, have you seen this picture floating around? I want to get to the bottom of this. Let's see what this guy's got to say.
I got to admit. All right. Latinos for Trump. All right. Well, I guess let's start the day off with this one. So a lot of you have sent me this image here. Police ICE seem to be arresting a man. Latinos for Trump 2024. I gotta admit, the Photoshop work is pretty good. It's pretty good. But my immediate thought was maybe this guy was wearing it in hopes he wouldn't get deported if he is, here illegally. Kind of like when people put like the thin blue line on your car in hopes that when you're speeding, the police won't stop you. That's kind of where my mind went. But then I started my investigative work, and this is what I found. So I ran an image search, and it looks like there's already 466 hits for it. Some of them going all the way back to like 2021, which I'm like, man, how hilarious would this be if this man actually ended up being deported under Biden and people are using it to try to get one over on the current administration. But the earliest I found and the source for this was, so this original image actually goes all the way back. This is the earliest I found. By an NPR, says ICE carries out its largest immigration raid in recent history, arresting 146. This is the original picture. As you can see, there's no Latinos for Trump. But of course, a lot of you were like, dude, what is going on? Now they're arresting like Latinos for Trump guys. And I'm like, nah, it's just people with the propaganda again.
Wow. Yeah. People are so desperate to try to frame Trump. They will do anything in their power. Here is Scott Jennings on CNN. If you're here illegally, you should be deported. And here's what the Democrat has to say.
I think that if you are trying to actively hire illegal immigrants, if you think that's best, if you are trying to game the system, if you are trying to help someone break U.S. federal immigration law, I think if we're going to have a true crackdown on illegal immigration in this country, it has to involve everybody who's participating in it. And I think you've raised a good point with this topic. And so employers and anyone else who's part of this pipeline, I think they ought to be put on notice. And you got to play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rules.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors.
Picking strawberries.
I mean, like,
these
I
building
can't
trades
wait.
guys are being hurt
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners. We're not going to see them. It's just going to become even harder to solve the problem. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, don't worry. We'll find him in the shadows too, honey, and you will still get your freaking blueberries. Goodness.
To punish individuals and people when there is a broken system.
I mean, look, I think if you came here illegally and you did it, you broke the law, you have to understand it's a new day in America. And number two, I still think the case for total economic collapse, if we have some deportation, is totally overstated. I mean, it's obvious the priority is violent criminals and the second priority is people with existing deportation orders. I think that's the vast majority of what's going to go on, for the next couple of years. And I don't think that's going to have any impact on the economy at all.
But I wonder about just acknowledging the role of undocumented people in the economy. I mean, I think that's the part that's not happening. I mean, earlier today, Stephen Miller was on with Jake Tapper.
Oh, man. You got to give it to Jennings, man. He knows how to handle those morons on CNN. We got this. An ICE raid at a car wash in Philadelphia happened Tuesday morning. 7 illegals were arrested. ICE is now targeting illegals everywhere. See, I told you, they're going to find them in the shadows and in the car washes.
Early morning ICE raid in the Juniata Park section of Philadelphia. The video here shows the scene as Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents conducted the raid at Complete Auto Wash. Witnesses and advocacy groups tell us 7 men were detained from this location, one of at least 2 early morning immigration raids undertaken across Philadelphia today. They come amid an increased crackdown by the Trump administration. Now, the White House said today that these raids will now target anyone in the country illegally for any reason, not merely those with a prior criminal record. Administration officials have already said these raids could target places of employment, schools, and churches as well. ICE raid.
We'll find them wherever they are hiding. It does not matter. It's only day 10, my fellow Americans, and we are winning. Here we have Gavin Newsom. The tax dollars that Gavin Newsom set aside to fight Trump will also be used to defend criminal illegals. Wall Street Apes writes 23 hours ago, Gavin Newsom's $50 million taxpayer set aside to Trump-proof California will go to defending criminal illegal aliens from deportation. I'm sure Californians are really happy about that, especially after they just got ravaged by fires. Maybe take that $50 million and rebuild. But this is California we're talking about.
Proceeding. So you're assuring us that none of this money will be used to defend criminal illegal immigrants facing deportation. You're going to assure me of that.
Assemblymember, as a budget staffer, I can only tell you what the grant is for. I don't know that I can give you that level of a guarantee.
On this fund, the grants that are going to go to these nonprofit groups, what sort of activities do you anticipate they're going to do with these grants? What are they going to do with the money? Would they use our tax dollars to defend illegal immigrants from deportation proceedings? Is that part of what they do?
Well, I'm not certain about that. I would have to defer probably.
Does someone here know?
If the deportation hearing is under a criminal justice jurisdiction, the Equal Access Fund is for civil matters.
And you're assuring us that this money is not used to defend illegal immigrants from deportation proceedings?
Again, just to reiterate, these are for civil legal proceedings.
Right.
Only.
So not deportation. Is deportation not a civil proceeding?
But again, it is the intent.
Don't have clarity. This is incredibly tone deaf to be moving forward with these bills at this time when we have residents who still are not in their homes. We should be focused on wildfire recovery, relief, and prevention. I don't think this is a sign of good faith, and I hope you take that back to the governor. So you're assuring us.
That's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Misappropriation. You got people that are out of their homes, American citizens that need the support of the state that has a budget for these types of things, but they're going to go ahead and spend it on defending illegals. And here's another guy, a bald liberal man, patting himself on the back for berating ICE agents during a raid at his complex where an alleged illegal who is accused of abusing children lived. Listen to this.
He says when they gave him
as aggressive knocks at my door. I approached the door, but before opening it, I asked who it was. I heard in response that it was the police. I asked if they had a warrant. They indicated that they did.
He says when they gave him an Hispanic name he didn't recognize, he opened the door.
I fully expected to see Fairfax County police at the door. Instead, I saw a group of men. It was at least 4, but I think it was more, decked out in what I would describe as like tactical gear.
In the video provided to News 4 by another resident, you can see the word police and the acronym ERO, which stands for Enforcement and Removal Operations within ICE.
I told them that they should be ashamed of themselves, that they were breaking up families, and that, what my government was doing was embarrassing, and they're embarrassing our country.
Early morning door knocks more traumatic for another neighbor who spoke to our Telemundo 44 partner and asked we conceal her identity. They were knocking very hard on the door. They were trying to force it open. They kept trying to turn the handle and kept pushing hard against the door. She says the incident was so frightening to her 10-year-old that she was crying and asked not to go to school today. She's afraid that when she comes home from school, I'll be gone. Residents say they do not believe anyone was taken into custody. This resident telling our Juliana Valencia he's upset everyone was subjected to the pre-dawn door knocks.
And I asked them, hey, if you have a warrant, it's for a specific apartment. Are you knocking on everyone's door? I kind of reiterated some of the concerns. The individual who seemed to be in charge threatened to lock me up, asked me if I wanted to be locked up. That would be more accurate.
Across the country on Sunday, ICE officers arrested 956 people. That compared to about 300 a day back in September. More than 2,600 people have been picked up since President Trump's inauguration. The White House social media feed featuring post after post of people ICE has arrested. We asked ICE for more information and about why they came to this Beacon Hill building, who they were looking for, but we have not yet received a response.
Okay, well, you're going to keep waiting. And in the meantime, the doors will continue to get knocked on. And President Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem are going to take action because it is long overdue. So what we're seeing is a fundamental reshaping of American sovereignty. While sanctuary cities crumble and ICE restores law and order, the left's entire immigration narrative is falling apart. They claim deportations were impossible, yet ICE just cleared out illegal aliens from Philadelphia to Chicago. They said the border couldn't be secured, yet there are Marines deploying razor wire right now. But here's what should really make you think. Why are Democrat governors like Gavin Newsom spending $50 million of your tax money to protect criminal aliens instead of helping American citizens in need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think these sanctuary city politicians are really trying to hide? Wear your revolution with our exclusive MAG Avengers gear because patriotism never goes out of style. Available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, baby. Ice, baby. It's happening. Let's check in. I think we got some more super chats that we have to address. Thank you, guys. Heather Reeves says, people are having trouble hearing news clips. I sent a message to Brian when I saw that, and I hope it's getting better. Also, Parmas, okay, and then we have Jennifer. She says, I am shocked that East Lansing, Michigan is voting to ignore federal enforcement on immigration issues. Very sad for my state. Very sad indeed. Mountain Goddess dropping $10. Thank you. Yesterday, we had a car flip in front of us. Wow. We stopped to help, but 4 Hispanic men climbed out bleeding, limping, saying no help in thick accents, and ran into the woods before the cops came. Holy cow. 4 Hispanic men in a car. I wonder if they were intoxicated. and perhaps illegal as well. Checking in on the main chat real quick before we get to the next segment of the evening. Charlie says, please help Mr. Tom Homan. You're needed in South America. Well, we got to help our country here first. Lock the border. Mr. Cheddar Pepper Prepper. Yo, lock the border and listen. ICE on a whole new mission. ICE, ICE, baby. Who else here? We got lots of illegals in Kansas. Round them up, says Brand 47. Keep going, Trump, says West. They should be proud of enforcement of our laws, says KevChat 010. Who else we've got? Newsom hiding from getting caught because he was having financial dealings with China. Probably so. They're hiding their allegiance to Mexican cartels, says Little Onion. Got it, Gary. She left anyway. Sorry. Not sure what you're referring to. Julie Loper. There's a woman who lives in Tallahassee who's afraid to let her kids out, and our capital is in Tallahassee. Homan here to pick you up. God is good all the time. Sabrina says they're hiding their criminal buddies. Wilma, these politicians must be part of the cartel network. Yep, that's probably what they are. Okay, Potted Kenny, this room's happy. Yeppers! Yeppers indeed. Yeppers indeed. Where are we at? Oh, yes, let's get to the big news out of Washington, D.C. today. This is awesome. Let's go. Today, we witnessed something extraordinary in Washington. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. didn't just testify before the Senate. He exposed the entire pharmaceutical industrial complex. When Elizabeth Warren demanded that he promise not to sue Big Pharma, his response left her speechless. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. RFK Jr. revealed that President Trump personally asked him to end America's chronic disease epidemic. They're terrified because for the first time, we have someone willing to take on the medical establishment. And wait till you hear what he said about those 300,000 missing children. While RFK Jr. exposes the truth about our nation's health crisis, Americans are facing another crisis, skyrocketing heating bills. Just like the pharmaceutical industry is draining your wallet with overpriced medications, the energy companies are bleeding you dry with inflated heating costs. But there is a solution. It's this revolutionary portable heater. That's right. The technology is what the power companies don't want you to know about. It's helping thousands slash their heating bills while staying cozy. Visit StayWarmNow.com for a shocking 60% off and free shipping. That is StayWarmNow.com to beat the system. Okay, let's jump right into this. This was Mark Vargas, a friend of mine on the Stone Zone, just about 12 hours ago. He said, for the last 4 years, Democrats lied and deceived the American people. They said Biden was fit to serve, a lie. They said Harris couldn't beat him. Now they're saying 17,000 physicians oppose RFK Jr. Let's watch.
That was a lie. Is what the progressive left and the Democrats are doing. Once again, they deceived Americans that Joe Biden is completely healthy. Remember, Kamala Harris said, you don't see Joe Biden when I see him in the Situation Room when there are no cameras. The decisions that he's making, how quick he is on his feet, that was a lie. That Kamala Harris could beat Donald Trump, that was a lie. That Joe Biden could beat Donald Trump, that was a lie. That Joe Biden was completely healthy, that was a lie. Now they're saying 17,000 physicians signed a letter opposing RFK Jr.'s nomination. Guess what? That's a lie, too. Is what the progressive left.
Yeah, we're finding out that Bill Gates was behind that. I wonder why. And here we have, okay, there's so much to get to. Here's a moment. RFK had the entire room laughing about talking about McDonald's.
Well, I don't want to take food away from anybody. If you like a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger, or a Diet Coke, which my boss loves, and you should be able to get them. If you want to eat Hostess Twinkies, you should be able to do that. But you should know what the impacts are on your family and on your health.
Thank you. Senator Wyden.
My boss likes to eat McDonald's. And here is more. I mean, it was fire. Minute after minute of fire today on Capitol Hill.
Even
RFK
15% of American youth are now on Adderall or some other ADHD medication. Even higher percentages are on SSRIs and benzos. We are not just over-medicating our children, we're over-medicating our entire population. Half the pharmaceutical drugs on Earth are now sold here. 70% of the profits from pharmaceutical companies are from the United States, even though we only have 4.2% of the world's population. Not only that, but a recent study by Cochrane Collaboration founder Peter Ghosh found that pharmaceutical drugs are the third largest cause of death in our country after heart attacks and cancers. Oh, they're not making us healthier. We need community health initiatives. We need access to treatment. We need exercise. We need better food.
We need RFK Jr. at the head. Here we have a Democrat senator tries to save himself from humiliation after RFK Jr. reminds him of a key detail about Medicaid. Listen to this.
Medicaid, FMAP. Yes or no, do you support cutting Medicaid or reducing, and especially in an area where you and I spoke about with the federal investment in Medicaid, which is known as FMAP? I'm going to call it a restroom break.
President Trump has not told me that he wants to cut Medicaid. He's told me to make it better.
Do you support cutting, yes or no? Let me ask you this way, since it's only about President Trump.
I support making it better, Senator.
If President Trump asks you to cut Medicaid, will you do it?
Oh, it's not up to me to cut Medicaid. It would be up to Congress. And
you don't
I'm going to work. I'm going to work.
Mr. Kennedy, you don't want to answer? I'll move on. Do you know how many states will end? Yes or no?
He totally answered the question. Yeah. Here we have. Oh, this is great. This is great. A senator grilling him about being a conspiracy theorist.
Keep me from.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me, mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests. I was told that I was a conspiracy theorist. That label was applied to me because I said that the vaccines, the COVID vaccine, didn't prevent transmission and it wouldn't prevent infection, when the government was telling people, Americans, that it would. I was saying that because I was looking at the monkey studies in May of 2020. I was called a conspiracy. Now everybody admits it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said red dye caused cancer. And now FDA has acknowledged that and banned it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between IQ loss.
All right, so I'm going to assume
I could go on for about a week.
So is there any one of them that you can say, you got me? That really was a conspiracy theory, or are you in a position? Are you a conspiracy theorist?
They love throwing that term around, don't they? Oh, man, it's disgusting. Here's Bernie Sanders going on an unhinged rant about onesies to RFK Jr.
Afraid. They are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Black. I want to point out in the background there, you could see Megyn Kelly, you can see RFK's wife, and you can see the food babe also on the sitting behind him. Look at Megyn Kelly with that big smile. She's having a great day there, isn't she? Okay. What else have we got? So many hot clips from this today. Okay. Let's talk about those kids. Those 300,000 missing children he was asked about. This is the real reason Democrats can't stand RFK Jr.
Last 4 years. Yes, Senator, let me just reassure you that President Trump has personally spoken to me about locating those 300,000 children who disappeared over the last 4 years.
I don't think anybody has a fully accurate number, but it's hundreds of thousands, I agree.
And many of them we know have been sex trafficked and childhood slavery, and it is a blight on America's moral authority, and we need to find those kids.
And I believe we've already found about 80,000 of them. Here we have RFK Jr. We got so many great clips. Let's check in this one, talking about firing people.
Arena, they do a lot more on. Will you commit not to fire anyone in the health arena who currently works on protecting Americans from cyber attacks in their healthcare files?
I will commit to not firing anybody who's doing their job.
Based on your opinion? Based upon your opinion or your political agenda or Mr. Trump's political agenda?
Based upon my opinion.
So I guess that means a lot of the folks who've had any type of views on vaccines will be out of work.
Oh, wow. Here we have RFK Jr. President Trump has asked me to end the chronic disease epidemic.
It doesn't matter that you keep citing the Trump administration and you're just going to follow what they say. Is that what you're doing? You're just a rubber stamp for them in this position? So anybody, so it doesn't matter that you're before us. It could be anybody coming before us as long as they're a rubber stamp for this administration and disregarding your beliefs and what you think. I guess my question to you is, if it really is fundamental to what you believe, how do you live with that? How do you address those issues as you're moving forward, knowing that it's going to harm Americans? Yeah.
You want me to answer the question?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay. President Trump has asked me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again. And I'm
so
in
is that the only reason why you're at HHS? Is that the only reason why then you're at the HHS, to address that one issue?
President Trump has asked me because I'm in a unique position to end that. And that is what I'm doing. And if we don't solve that problem, Senator, all of the other disputes we have about who's paying, and whether it's insurance companies, whether it's providers, whether it's HMOs, whether it's patients or families, all of those are moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. Our ship is sinking. Our 60% increase in Medicaid over the past 4 years is the biggest budget line now, and it's growing faster than any other. And no other nation in the world has what we have here. No other nation has a chronic disease. We have the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. We had, during COVID, we had 16% of the COVID deaths in a country. We only have 4.2% of the world's population. We had a higher death count than any country in the world. And when CDC was asked why, they said it's because Americans are the sickest people on earth. The average person who died from COVID, American, had 3.8 chronic diseases. This is an existential threat economically, to our military, to our health, to our sense of well-being. And it is a priority for President Trump. And that's why he asked me to run the agency. And if I'm privileged to be confirmed, that's exactly what I'll do.
Yeah, baby. Oh, man, that was beautiful. Oh, I love him so much. I am so happy. I am so happy. God, I pray that he gets confirmed. Here we have Democrat Ron Wyden claiming that RFK Jr. is someone who chases money and influence. We should point out here that Wyden has received $1.5 million from the healthcare industry. Notable donors include Molina Healthcare, Quest Diagnostics, and Novo Nordisk.
This is the profile. So that Mr. Kennedy has embraced conspiracy theories, quacks, charlatans, especially when it comes to the safety and efficacy of vaccines. He has made it his life's work to sow doubt and discourage parents from getting their kids life-saving vaccines. It has been lucrative for him and put him on the verge of immense power. This is the profile of someone who chases money and influence wherever they lead, even if that may mean the tragic deaths of children and other vulnerable people.
I can't believe these people would say that. Here is, apparently, I guess this is a donations that were made to Wyden. Anna Matson posting this. You can see defense, energy, national resources, finance, real estate, construction, communications, and the like. Let's see, we've got more. Okay, here is Elizabeth Warren. This is RFK's exchange with her.
Or a health commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member.
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not
what?
going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this.
I don't think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
Let's keep commit that we.
How much money has she taken? Okay, we've also got, he already said this, we got this. RFK called out Democrats to their faces.
People are on it. Americans don't, by and large, do not like the Affordable Care Act. People are on it. They don't like Medicaid. They like Medicare. And they like private insurance. We need to listen to what they would prefer to be on private insurance. Most Americans, if they can afford to be, will be on private insurance. We need to figure out ways to improve care, particularly for elderly, for veterans, for the poor in this country. And Medicaid, the current model is not doing that. I would ask, any of the Democrats who are chuckling just now, do you think all that money, the $900 billion that we're sending to Medicaid every year, has made Americans healthy? Do we think it's working for anybody? Are the premiums low enough? Americans don't.
Here we have, apparently there's a big line of support out there for Robert Kennedy this morning. Don't mess with Maha moms. That's right. Angie is one of them. Let's check it out.
I am here at the Durst office building. We're getting ready for Bobby's Senate hearing. I've got to go down this line, guys. I'm getting ready to show you all of this support that Bobby has. Everybody, look. He has a lot of support. Hey, everybody, say hi to Bobby. Bobby, you wouldn't believe it, but you have hundreds and hundreds of supporters already here waiting for you to arrive, Bobby, so come on.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Farmers author a letter of support to RFK Jr. For Health Secretary confirmation. Senator Steve Daines to RFK Jr., you mentioned that you want to make HHS the gold standard. Let's listen.
Gold standard. Mr. Kennedy, I'm glad to see you here this morning. I listened to your opening remarks, and you mentioned that you want to make HHS the gold standard of science. I have found my engagements with you, both behind closed doors in my office, as well as listen to you publicly to be very thoughtful and science-based. I applaud that. I thank you for that. And I realize this will likely be a very partisan vote on this committee and on the Senate floor. But let the record state there are 3 medical doctors on this side of the dais. I'm a chemical engineer. We believe in science. I'm thankful that you do too, and you made that comment in your opening remarks.
Beautiful.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, finally someone who believes in science again. Yep. This is a beautiful day in America. We are witnessing it all happen, but we are not out of the woods yet. The attacks will continue to come on RFK Jr. We will continue to support him here. I remember in 2016 when he went to Trump Tower, I was so excited to see him going to meet with Donald Trump, but there were many people at that time surrounding President Trump and urged them to stay away from RFK Jr. Well, we are in a different era now. Here's more from RFK Jr. today.
What I want to do is, I'm not a scientist. I want to empower scientists. I want to make sure that science is unobstructed by vested or economic interests.
Oh, yeah. It's a new day, friends. It is a new day. Here's another clip.
And I didn't answer.
So do you believe, as you've said, that antidepressants cause school shootings? This should be a simple question.
I don't think anybody can answer that question, and I didn't answer that question. I said it should be studied. So your answer is? I said it should be studied along with other potential culprits, like
so they may cause
social media. But I don't know. I would never make, because there's no science on that,
well,
Senator.
there is, Senator. I mean, excuse me, there is, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you for the promotion.
The science shows that there. So do you believe, as you've said, that
Oh, yeah. It is a historic moment, friends, and you are a part of it. And I'm glad to be here to share it with you. Okay. Now, what happened in that Senate hearing today? It was not just political theater. It was the beginning of a revolution in American healthcare. When Bernie Sanders tried to trap RFK Jr. with questions about vaccines and onesies, Kennedy turned the tables and exposed a $900 billion Medicaid scandal. But here's what's really significant. Trump and Kennedy, 2 men the establishment have tried to destroy, are now joining forces to tackle the chronic disease epidemic. And that has big pharma trembling. So here's what I want to know, and put this down in the comments. Why do you think the same Democrats who claim to fight for affordable health care are now trying to block someone who wants to make Americans healthier? Rep your truth with our exclusive Mag Avengers collection, because some revolutions start with a statement. Available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, where are we at? $32 in Super Chats. Come on, guys. Can we get 50? Can we get a 20? Can someone drop a 20 spot today? Let's go. Come on. I love you guys. You guys answer the call. You guys are here. Hey, Max81 has become a member. What is up, Hey Max? Welcome to the family. Let's check in on the main chat and see what's going on. Okay. You love the thumbnail for tonight's show. Thank you very much. Skontek says they're profiting off Big Pharma. They're saying an aircraft crash. Yes, I did see that. Actually, I just noticed that an aircraft has crashed off just outside of Reagan Airport, and it's a small airplane. Plane crashes into the Potomac River near Reagan Airport in Washington, D.C. They stayed here. It happened Wednesday night near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. D.C. Fire Emergency Medical Services confirmed it on social media. Confirmed small aircraft down in Potomac River vicinity, Reagan Airport, fireboats on the scene. Details of the crash, including cause, have not been confirmed so far, but emergency teams are currently conducting rescue and recovery operations. So that just happened moments ago. Heather Reeve says, it is Providence. Yes, it is. The Dems are losing their government taxpayer teat, says Gen X. Look for what? The problem and solution. Larry Siebens, aircraft down in the Potomac. Yes, we just saw that. Maha is wonderful, says Jennifer. Kev Chat, RFK didn't leave the Democrats. They left him behind. Let's see. Doris says, I take an antidepressant anxiety pill every day. I had to go back to the doc, ask him to lower the dose because it was making me too bold. Those pills may be part of the problem. Yep, I used to be on those things too. And nope. I dropped all that stuff cold turkey, and I was healed by the power of the blood of Jesus, and I give God the glory for that. Sure, you was asking, seen any bad weather lately? No, it's just been cold. It's just been cold up here. Kathy says these senators are two-faced. I love you guys in the chat. Says overeducated. Did the plane hit a helicopter? I don't know. We don't have much. 60 people, supposedly. That's not a small plane. Laura Cazzola, apply for White House press. Yes, we already have. We have applied for the White House press credentials. I sent an email off today. Thanks to our contacts inside the administration, and a super chat came through. Mountain Goddess video game controller, $50. Holy cow, man! Thank you, Mountain Goddess. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Super effective, she says. Yeah, we filled out the application. Okay, so I sent the email. We got the email from a friend that we met at Trump Doral some years ago in Miami, and then sent the email. They replied right away with a proper form. I filled out the form, sent it back right away. I got a response saying, okay, if this is your first time, you just show up here at this date and time. I replied, and she sent me back another form that I had to fill out that I hand to, or I guess they use it for the list of people who go into the White House. So she said, just show up at the White House press entrance and I will lead you in. So that's going to be a big day, a huge day. February 13th. That is when I will be going to the White House. Oh, man. I'm still beside myself thinking about all we've done. And, what I plan to do is if I'm able to, get it all, we can get everything organized. You see, here's the thing. That whole situation, they have, as I just reported, 7,500 applicants clicked the link in that that they put out on X. Because we have contacts at the White House in the administration, we were able to circumvent that process by going direct to a communications director there through email. Now, I submitted that, so I might be able to get official press credentials. I might not be in the same category as like a TikToker or a social media influencer. I mean, hell, we've had this channel for like 13 years, over 2 billion views. We're not like your average run-of-the-mill, TikToker, okay? So this could go two ways. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go, but it's either we're going to be in the category of the news because of our website and our reach and because of you, or we're going to be put in the category of social media influencer. And if we're on the side of news, then we might just be able to go in whenever we want to. But if we're put on the side of the social media, then we'll be part of a rotating series of seats that will be allowed into the White House at certain times. So like I said, 7,500 people have applied. Only 3 seats per press conference will be permitted. So therefore, they have to cycle through all those seats. Now, how they're going to assign those seats and when, does that mean if I am in that category, am I going to get an email saying, Mr. Franchi, you have been permitted to come in at this date, this time, there will be a press conference held, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm hoping I'm on the other side. We get the hard pass. We can go in whenever we want. And I believe that's exactly where we will stand. And if that's the case, that puts us up over and above everybody. It puts us right at the same level as, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and everybody else. So this is a huge, huge development, and I'll be going there to the White House on February 13th to go and fill out the form, sign it, and I intend to bring my camera and record the experience so you guys can join me in that. And I'm either going to go live when I do it, or I'm going to record it and upload it. I'll also, since I will be in D.C., I will be doing the raw feed from the hotel, so that should be a different experience as well, because we're going to have different technology, different setup. It'll just look like me, but a different background, basically. Everything else will pretty much hopefully will fall in line. So we're really excited. Thank you for asking that question and allowing me to share that with you. Okay, so we've got to get some more news here. Trump's dream team rocking the deep state. Let's go, baby. All right. Listen closely. Pay attention. Because what you are about to learn is exactly why Washington insiders are losing sleep. President Trump isn't just making appointments, he's assembling a wrecking crew to demolish the administrative state. Lee Zeldin at EPA, Pam Bondi as Attorney General, and now Tulsi Gabbard facing fierce opposition from the same people who claim to champion bipartisanship? But here's what they're not telling you. This isn't just about filling positions. It's about systematically dismantling decades of bureaucratic control. And right now, we're going to show you exactly why they are terrified. And you know what happens when the deep state loses power? They panic. And right now, as Trump's new appointments shake the foundations of Washington, the elites are scrambling, just like those power companies that have been overcharging you for years. But here's the difference. You can fight back against your power bill. This revolutionary device is exactly what big energy doesn't want you to know about. It helps dramatically reduce your energy consumption and protects your appliances. Visit don'twastepower.com for a massive 65% discount and free shipping. That's don'twastepower.com. Okay, let's get into it. This is the big news right now. 5 hours ago, Lee Zeldin confirmed as EPA administrator. Congratulations, Lee Zeldin. I like the guy. I like him. I liked him when he was in Congress. I was kind of sad that he didn't retain his seat. But now he's back. He is back in the swamp, but now he is going to be cleaning up the Environmental Protection Agency, which is essentially an environmental terrorist organization. Here we have Trump's AG. This was 10 hours ago. Trump AG Pam Bondi left a former AG Ashley Moody, now a senator, a note after leaving her Florida office. Moody became Attorney General of Florida after Bondi. Moody now returns the favor. Let's listen into this moment.
The greatest, and it is evidenced by what she left me on the day she left office. She left me a note card with a personal note. She said, "Ashley, you will be the greatest AG." And you know what I get to say now, Mr. Chairman? Right back at Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi will make the greatest United States Attorney General.
Oh, she's going to do a wonderful job. And here we have Juanita Broderick. She posted this. This is our new beloved press secretary. Quite an upgrade from Karine Jean-Pierre. This is the dynamic and brilliant new press secretary, Carolyn Levitt. And I guess we got some beautiful behind-the-scenes stuff you don't normally get to see. So let's take a look.
Do you know who Caroline Levitt?
That was beautiful. You don't normally get to see those types of moments and hear those types of stories, but we're in a new era, folks. We are in a new era. Here's what Elon Musk had to say about Tulsi Gabbard. Every attack on Tulsi Gabbard is a smear concocted by those desperate to prevent the change voters demanded in November. Quote tweeting Donald Trump Jr. Trump cabinet nominee Loeffler pledges to donate salary to charity if confirmed. Let's see. We can go a little bit deeper. I think this is the Fox News. First on Fox, here we have former Senator Kelly Loeffler, President Donald Trump's nominee to serve as Small Business Administrator plans to donate her entire federal salary to charity, Fox News Digital has learned. She's a prominent business executive, philanthropist who served as a senator from Georgia for 2 years, goes in front of the Senate Small Business Entrepreneurship Committee Wednesday for her confirmation hearing. If confirmed, She will donate her annual federal pay of $207,500 to charity. And where do you think she picked that one up from? Yeah, Donald Trump, he doesn't take a dime either. And speaking of our new press secretary, did you hear about this one? Elon Musk quote tweeted this, calling it the tip of the iceberg. DOGE and OMB Office of Management and Budget found the Biden administration was about to send $37 million to the World Health Organization and $50 million to fund condoms for Gaza.
OMB also, just during this pause, DOGE and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOGE and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good.
Yep, they are pausing and they are analyzing it. Let's take a look. This is from Elon Clips. This looks like Elon back on the campaign trail. Love this guy.
After year, with the larger government gets, the less individual freedom you have. And I think, that's really the core things. Your freedoms have just been eroded year after year with more and more government laws and regulations and regulatory authorities. When I looked it up, there's like 428 federal agencies. What the hell do you need 428 agencies for? Like, why do you even need 100? This is crazy. They're currently making new agencies at a rate of 2 per year. And every one of them is chipping away at your freedom. So it's essential for us to unwind that process and restore your personal freedom. And with that will come great prosperity and personal happiness, I believe.
Great prosperity is on the horizon. 13 hours ago, Elon Musk said this checks out. DOGE. Many federal civil service workers spend most of their workdays complaining about their jobs on Reddit. Interestingly, much of the activity violates federal law. He was quote tweeting Amuse, another great X follow. This is the daily workday activity on Fed News. So someone actually tracked this Reddit, Fed News, and this is the standard workday. So while they're supposed to be working, they're busy posting on Reddit, complaining about their jobs. So if they're complaining about their jobs, then they might actually be violating federal law and make it so much easier to get rid of them. We're learning this now. Elon Musk apparently has been nominated for the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his efforts to protect free speech. And if there's anybody that needs it and deserves it, it is Elon Musk. There's some context here that was added. Musk was proposed to the Nobel Committee for nomination. The committee receives hundreds of proposals each year. Yeah, well, he deserves it. So proposed or asked or whatever, doesn't matter. He definitely deserves it. Reportedly nominated for the 2025 Peace Prize. Elon Musk posting this meme 8 hours ago. Number of genders from 4004 BC to 2020 AD, there were only 2. From 2021 AD to 2024 AD, there were 73. And at present, there are only 2 genders. Elon Musk nominated for the Peace Prize. Here is more. And an effort is being led by conservative Slovenian member of the European Parliament, Branko Grims, who believes Musk deserves the award for promoting free speech around the world. The Norwegian Nobel Institute, nomination successfully submitted. Your nomination for a Nobel Prize has been successfully submitted. The Norwegian Nobel Committee appreciate your effort in making this nomination. So this is also beautiful. That's the official email reply from the Nobel Committee. Pam Bondi, DC Drano 11 hours ago, just got voted through committee and will be before the whole Senate soon. Democrats uniformly oppose Pam Bondi for AG. That means she absolutely needs to be confirmed. George Beasy tweets, Senate Judiciary advanced Pam Bondi's nomination to become the next Attorney General with a tight 12-10 vote. Yes, we need her there. Trump's Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick speaks about tariffs during his confirmation hearing. He says tariffs will be across the board. Now, of course, Howard Lutnick, he's also the one who's been pushing to end the IRS. At almost every single speech he gives, he makes it a point to bring that up, and that's why I love this guy. I've been talking about ending the IRS and ending the Federal Reserve for 20 years, and finally we have people in power that actually get it and are pushing it. So he says tariffs will be across the board, not targeted. Will be country by country macro approach. Will be implemented to create fairness and respect, and to create fairness. Will be implemented to create fairness and respect and create reciprocity. Commits to dealing with retaliatory tariffs from other countries. Dodged a couple specific questions by reiterating that the U.S. has been treated with disrespect and others have a reliance on the U.S. economy. So that is good. He is moving forward as well with the America First agenda. Here he is, Howard Lutnick. This was a live blog on @business. Trump's pick for commerce faces questions for his confirmation. If confirmed, he'll lead tariff and trade agenda review, chips funding and export controls, AI and spectrum policy, and more. Here's his opening statement at his confirmation hearing to be Secretary of Commerce.
Thank you, Chairman Cruz, Ranking Member Cantwell, and members of the committee. And thank you, JD, Mr. Vice President, for your kind introduction. I deeply appreciate our friendship and that he was able to join me today. I'm profoundly grateful to President Trump for the confidence and faith he has placed in me. It is an honor to appear before you as your nominee for Secretary of Commerce. My family is here with me today. I would like to introduce you to my wife, Allison, who's sitting behind me, who for 30 years has been my great partner, advisor, and the spectacular mother to our wonderful children. My oldest son, Kyle, behind me, Brandon, Casey, and Ryan. My extraordinary sister, Edie, is also here, as well as Allison's brother, Rick, and my sister-in-law, Abby, and many of my closest friends have chosen to come down to support me. I grew up on Long Island, New York. My mother was an artist, as you said, and an art teacher. My father was a professor of American history. My mother, Jane, taught me how to appreciate life. When I was 14, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. But she decided if she was going to die before then, she was going to live. I'll never forget the day she pulled me out of class. So I rushed to the car and said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I'm okay, let's go." We drove to New York City. We went to art galleries. Then we went to the opera. We went to a late night dinner, got home super late. And of course, she expected me to get up and get to school on time the next day. My mother died in February 1978 when I was 16 years old. A year and a half later, my father was diagnosed with lung cancer. He kept his diagnosis secret from me because he wanted to make sure I left to start college in the fall. He dropped me off at school, and a week later, he went for his first chemotherapy treatment at a local hospital. The nurse accidentally gave him the wrong dose, and he died right then and there. It was September 12th, 1979, and I was 18 years old. So we all know losing one parent is heartbreaking, but losing both is something entirely different. It's life-shattering. Without any support from our extended family, Edie and I put my 15-year-old brother in a boarding school right near my college, and he would sleep with me in my dorm room on the weekends. The next year, Gary moved up to live with my sister and spent the next 2 years living with her while she earned her law and business degree. The three of us became inseparable. But as you can imagine, the pain we suffered when Gary and 657 of my other friends and colleagues at Kenneth Fitzgerald were killed on 9/11. The company was located on the top 5 floors of the World Trade Center. I still can't say without being emotional, sorry. But no one in the office survived. I was taking my son Kyle to his first day of kindergarten, which is why I'm with you today. The company was destroyed, but on September 12th, I hosted a call with my surviving employees, and I laid out 2 choices for them. We could either attend our friends' funerals, but that's 20 funerals a day. for 33 straight days. Or we could try to rebuild the company to take care of the 658 families that we lost that day. So this phone call led to one of the most extraordinary events in American business history. All of our employees, both new and those that survived, agreed to donate 25% of their salaries to the families of 9/11 colleagues. So together we raised $180 million over the next 5 years for those families. And my employees, they stitched my soul back together. My employees never expected to get paid back, but I had other ideas. So in 2008, we took a division of our company public, and I gave each and every one of those employees double of what they had given to those families. I've worked at Cantor my entire career, 41 years, and rebuilding the company over the past 24 years is my greatest business achievement. After 9/11, we were down to about 1,000 employees. Today, the company employs more than 14,000. I'm so proud of my exceptional friends at Cantor, BGC, and Newmark. I saw the strength of the American spirit during President Trump's campaign, and it fueled my desire to serve our nation. We need healthy businesses, small, medium, and large, to hire our great American workers to drive our economy. I will dedicate myself to making our government more responsive, working to ensure Americans have the greatest opportunity for success. I am an outcome-driven leader, and upon my confirmation, I will take a thoughtful and rigorous approach to leading this great department and serving our country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I look forward to taking your questions.
Right on. Good guy right there. Bitcoin News reports Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick didn't list Tether or any crypto investments in his financial disclosure, despite at least $806 million in assets. Still, Elizabeth Warren is pressing him over Cantor Fitzgerald's stake in Tether. Warren presses Lutnick on ties to crypto firm loved by the outlaws. That's the headline. J.D. Vance, here he is introducing Howard Lutnick at his confirmation hearing.
You have as much fun as I did. Great. Well, good morning, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Cantwell. And I see Senator Curtis has my old chair, so hopefully you do or you have as much fun as I did and do as much good as I tried to do. Senator Marino and all the members of the committee, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to introduce my dear friend Howard Lutnick, who I think...
No, I'm just thrilled to see J.D. Vance sitting on the other side of the table as the Vice President of the United States. What about you guys? Oh, man, this is great. Let's continue.
...to make an amazing Commerce Secretary for the United States of America. You know, one of my mentors in business always said that any good business has both product people and sales people. And Howard is one of the few people who is both a product guy and a sales guy. And I want to talk about that because I think that America, as Commerce Secretary, needs a Commerce Secretary who is both a product guy and a sales guy. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at his career, Howard is the kind of guy who developed innovative products. He has a number of patents to his name, something I didn't even know when I first got to know Howard, but I learned later. But he's also an incredible sales guy. This is a person who, on the world stage, will say more and do more and convince businesses that America is back, that America is growing and thriving. And I think that will inure to the benefit, most importantly, of American workers who have seen their wages stagnate, their real living standards decline. And Howard is exactly the kind of guy that we need to reverse that trend and get American commerce back on track. Howard is, more than anybody maybe that I've ever met in the private sector, aware, in part because of the fact that he didn't grow up with everything handed to him, of the way in which what happens in the real economy affects real people. And that if we have a thriving, growing economy, we're going to have a stronger national security because we make more of our own stuff. We're also going to have an American workforce that is thriving, that is healthy, that is happy. And of course, that's what we're ultimately, I think, all of us here on the Commerce the Commerce Committee most focused on. Howard is a force of nature. For those of you who don't know him, and for the employees of the Commerce Department, I will say, with all apologies, you're going to work harder over the next 4 years than you probably have ever worked in your entire life. Howard is the kind of guy who can have you work 90 hours a week and make you feel like you're still energetic at the end of the day because he's working 110 hours a week and he never lets his foot off the gas and he never forgets what the mission is that drives him to do all of the incredible things that he has done and that he will do as Commerce Secretary. Now, I want to say a couple of words about Howard's biography because I think it influences certainly how I think about him, and I think it informs, hopefully, how all of you will think about his nomination. This is not a guy who was handed everything. He grew up in a family where they often struggled to make ends meet. He built one of the most successful and biggest financial firms in the world, and of course had it all destroyed by terrorists on 9/11, 2001. Now, Howard didn't die that day. He lost 600 employees, including, I believe, your brother, Howard. But he didn't die that day because he took his son to kindergarten on the Upper East Side, and so he wasn't in the towers when the planes hit. But what he did in the wake of it is maybe more impressive than what he did before. One, he rebuilt the business to where it is today. Again, one of the great financial firms in the entire world. But more importantly than that, he didn't forget the families of the employees who lost their lives that day. And I will never forget, talk about a good salesman. When I visited New York on the anniversary of 9/11 during the campaign, and as you all know, campaigns are very busy. There's a lot going on. And Howard said, JD, you need to come by my office because on 9/11 every day, and we've done it since 2001, we raise money for the families of the people who lost their lives that day. And I said, Howard, this is the middle of a presidential campaign, man. I'm the vice presidential nominee. And he said, no, you're coming. Trust me, you're coming. And I showed up on the floor, on the trading floor of Cantor Fitzgerald, and every single person was selling and working their tails off, not to make money for Howard Lutnick or the business that day, but to make money for the relief efforts and the families who they still take care of, what is it now, 24 years later. And that's an incredible testament to a guy who doesn't forget where he came from, who doesn't forget the people that he lost that day. And I can't think of a better person to be the Commerce Secretary than a person who is a product guy, who is a sales guy, and who is an incredible human being who doesn't forget the employees that he lost that day. And I want to make one final observation. So Howard has a beautiful family, and it's good to see all the kids here, and his lovely wife. On the campaign trail, one of the, as you all know, I have 3 little kids, and I like to take my kids with me on the campaign trail whenever possible because I'm a dad first. And as you also may know, when you have little kids, sometimes little kids don't behave all the time. In fact, they often don't behave. And I remember when we took our kids to Howard's house on the campaign trail, and we actually had a fundraiser that evening in a different place, but we had a few hours. And I told my wife, I said, we're going to take the kids to my buddy's house, Howard Lutnick's house. And she said, you know, do you really want to take our 3 kids, energetic, wound up, to somebody's house? They're going to destroy something. They're going to embarrass us. And I said, Howard's house, his wife's house, yes, actually. And we spent the morning with them. We spent the afternoon with them. And then we went to our event. And I'll never forget afterwards, my wife looked at me and said, we felt like the kids could just be kids. Even though they didn't know Howard, and even though Howard didn't know them, he was a good enough guy to make it possible for our kids to just be kids. And I think that it's important to have the kind of person at Commerce who can't just do the job because Howard can certainly do the job, who hasn't just been wildly successful because, of course, Howard has been wildly successful, but is just a good dude. And Howard is a good dude. He will make us proud as our next Commerce Secretary, but he makes me even prouder to call him a friend. God bless you, man.
Vote for Howard because he's a good dude. Now, they didn't mention the IRS in their opening statements, probably because, you know, that's red meat for you and me, not necessarily for a confirmation hearing. What else have we got here? So many beautiful things happening. And it's just a great day to be in America. So look at what's happening. Every single Trump nominee is facing unprecedented resistance. Why? Because these aren't just appointments. They are precision strikes at the heart of the administrative state. When Pam Bondi gets confirmed as Attorney General, the DOJ won't be able to hide behind political prosecutions anymore. When Lee Zeldin takes over the EPA, the climate change industrial complex loses its enforcer. And if establishment's reaction to Tulsi Gabbard tells you anything, it's that they're terrified of outsiders who can't be controlled. So here's what I want you to put in the comments. Why do you think the same people who demanded unity after Biden's election are now trying to block every single Trump nominee, especially when Donald Trump appoints former Democrats. I want to hear your comments. So stand out with our exclusive Mag Avengers gear because patriots wear their values. Available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, don't go anywhere. We've got more news to get to, and we have an interview a little bit later in the show. A special guest will be joining us. We have a super chat. Dude Bro says 6 months sober. Congratulations. That is beautiful. 6 months sober. Thank you, Jesus. All things are possible through Christ. Amen. Let me check in on some of your other comments here real quick in the chat room. Just got my oxys back, but I hate them. Have you ever taken a sucker away from a toddler? That's exactly what the Dems act the way they are. Rename prisons to what they are, Democrat convention areas. Oh, keep up the great reporting, N3. God is good all the time. Congrats. Off to a good start. What a night. Thank you, Gary. You the man, Big Jersey. That's what he says. Yeah, Gary, they reversed the ban because I fought back. Oh, that's right. You messaged me on X because they banned you for like 24 hours. That's something I'm not familiar with the banning process for comments on YouTube. I've never had that. I've never had that experience. I always, because I'm on the content side primarily, I have a completely different set of rules that I have to always abide by. Let's see what else we've got here. How great would it have been if JD crop dusted everyone behind it? This isn't live. Probably why not talk about it? Well, this is live, buddy. This is live. Do I have an email? Will you share it? Yes, you can email press@nextnewsnetwork.com. Are you watching the plane crash in D.C.? I haven't checked in on it. I don't know what's going on with that. We can check in on that later. So unless you guys want to drop some comments in the chat room with some updates, anything you guys find, I'll see if I can get to that before the next segment begins. Okay, let's get to our next one. Okay. Tonight, we're witnessing something extraordinary in Washington, the complete meltdown of the Democrat establishment. Senator Elizabeth Warren is literally shrieking about RFK Jr.'s refusal to protect Big Pharma. Bernie Sanders is having an unhinged rant about onesies. Even Senator Fetterman, who's now celebrating the Laken Riley Act, shows how the ground is shifting. But here's what's really happening. The old media power structure is crumbling. When the White House received over 7,400 new media requests in just 24 hours, it confirmed what we've been telling you. The establishment's monopoly on information is over. And while the establishment elites panic about losing their grip on power, Americans are facing real health challenges. Just like these politicians need to get their priorities straight, isn't it time you prioritize your blood pressure? Nearly half of all adults are struggling with high blood pressure, and this revolutionary formula is changing lives. It's a triple action solution that helps manage blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight naturally. Visit boostwithgary.com for a 40% discount and take control of your health while Washington loses control of their narrative. That's boostwithgary.com. Speaking of the narrative, here it is. Elon Musk, 14 hours ago, quote tweeting Arthur McWaters, the media outrage is much more about trying to get Trump than it is about morale or practical questions of deportation. Trust in the media is absolutely down. Look at those numbers. Elon Musk says, for good reason, he says, legacy media is dying. 33 Senate Democrats voted against protecting Americans from foreign invaders. 156 House Democrats voted against protecting Americans from foreign invaders. Laken Riley's life didn't matter to them. Never forget. But we know Donald Trump has officially signed that into law. And here's Pocahontas. Let's listen in.
Go to work for drug. His answers are he intends to continue to make money off his anti-vax position. Look, he says he won't go to work for drug companies because the American people have a right to know that the decisions made while he is Secretary of HHS are only for the good of the American people. And yet, he wants to keep a piece of the action on every one of these anti-vax lawsuits. And what that means potentially is, as Secretary of HHS, he can make those lawsuits a whole lot more profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccine.
Are you worried that he's in the position to serve his own interests?
I mean, that wouldn't be bad, would it?
That is the problem. He has said he will protect his right to make money off the position of Secretary of HHS. That means that every decision he makes could be for the American people or could be just to benefit RFK Jr.
Do you think any of the points you're making are resonating with your Republican?
Give me a break, Elizabeth Warren. Speaking of disgraced senators, here is Senator Bob Menendez crying for mercy. He's getting 11 years for bribery. Ex-Senator Bob Menendez broke down in court begging for leniency, but was sentenced to 11 years for a gold bar bribery scheme. The first U.S. senator ever convicted of acting as a foreign agent. He sold his power for gold cash, a Mercedes, and luxury perks in exchange for favors to Egypt and Qatar. The judge didn't buy his tears. Somewhere along the way, you became a corrupt politician. Co-conspirator Wael Hannah got 8 years. Fred Dybus, 7 years, were also sentenced. This is from the New York Post. Here is another unhinged senator, Chris Murphy, saying there are few Americans less qualified to be Secretary of Health and Human Services than Robert Kennedy. What about Becerra?
Half an hour. There are very few people in the United States of America who are less qualified to lead the Department of Health and Human Services than Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Not just because he is overtly hostile to vaccines. I met with him for a half an hour. It was a stunning half an hour in which he told me to my face he's not anti-vaccine. And so I read to him the litany of things he has said, like there's no safe vaccine, and then all of the individual things he said about individual vaccines and how unsafe they are. For Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to say he's not anti-vaccine, he's just pro-science, it's kind of like a pyromaniac saying, well, I'm not an arsonist, I just set fires to buildings every day. Tammy told you, and others probably told.
Wow, I can't even stand that guy. Just more disinformation. Speaking of disinformation, here we have the Clucks on The View saying Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt got to where she is because of her looks. Well, if that's the case, how did Joy Behar get the job on The View? I don't know.
Job. It was her first. I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
I think she's.
Yeah, how crazy. And, you know, speaking of Caroline Leavitt, you know, the press secretary has announced that the media will be permitted, the new media, people like myself, will be permitted into the White House. And I want to just, if you missed my previous announcement, I have officially submitted my application. I bypassed the traditional means because we have a friend at the White House who told me who to email directly inside the White House in the communications team. Emailed them. I got an email back with a PDF, filled it out, send it back. She told me previously that if I'd never been there before, that I have to come in on February 13th and actually go to the White House. I asked her specifics about that. She sent me another form, filled it out, and she said, just show up at the press gate on this date and time, and I will bring you into the White House. So I'm officially going into the White House February 13th. I'm super excited about it. 7,400 people, as I stated, were have all applied to go do this. I think that we were able to bypass that because of our connections, and we will I'm hoping that we will get submitted to the actual press side. I was told I'm getting a hard pass, which means that I will have a hard pass press credential. I don't believe it's going to be the social media side. We're going to wait and see what happens, but this is huge news, and I'm really excited to announce this to you guys right here on the Next News Network. So we're going to take the fight right to Washington, right to the swamp, and you guys are going to go along with me for the ride. Here is Bernie Sanders showcasing the onesies sold by an organization he claims RFK Jr. runs.
Pro-vaccine, you want to ask questions. You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
leadership. Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Blackburn.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Bernie Sanders, he can't handle it. And, we're talking about, cutting the fat in government. People are freaking out. This young man has something interesting to say about the left always complaining. Listen.
What? So let me get this straight. Every single American complains about paying taxes and how many taxes we pay. So Trump goes and puts a freeze on federal funding so that he can review where every single dollar is being spent. He wants to know where every single penny is going. How do you people expect to lower the taxes if we don't know where our tax money is going? The federal government has lost or misplaced $1 trillion in 2024. $1 trillion is gone. They cannot account for it. Every single thing that this man does, you guys always have something to complain about. What the fuck did Biden do? What did Biden do with our tax money besides send billions overseas for people to blow each other up? Spend hundreds of millions of dollars on illegal immigrants for free healthcare, free clothes, free food, all while the American taxpayer, who pay $1,000 a month just in healthcare, can't even get a fucking doctor's appointment. Get your heads out of your asses.
Oh, man. And speaking of the press secretary, imagine if Alex Jones gets a White House press pass. Well, Alex Jones replied to this tweet from Ian Yeager saying that he was invited to the White House next week. So buckle up. We might just see Alex Jones in the press room very soon. And we have an update. There was a plane crash. I'm going to get to that in a second here, Caroline Levitt. But I want to play this clip again because it's really important. It's close to my heart, and I know it's close to you guys because there is this entire administration is changing the game. And this is when she was talking about the social media influencers and podcasters going into the White House press room.
To do this, and in keeping with this revolutionary media approach that President Trump deployed during the campaign, the Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just the legacy media who are seated in this room. Because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low. Millions of Americans, especially young people, have turned from traditional television outlets and newspapers to consume their news from podcasts, blogs, social media, and other independent outlets. It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025. To do this, I am excited to announce the following changes will be made to this historic James S. Brady briefing room, where Mr. Brady's legacy will endure. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration. We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. And you can apply now on our new website, whitehouse.gov/newmedia. Starting today, this seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex. So in light of these announcements, our first questions for today's briefing will go to these new media members whose outlets, despite being some of the most viewed news websites in the country, have not been given seats in this room.
And we get millions and millions of views. I'm sure we get more views than CNN. There's no question about that. Here's the post that I just made. Let's see if I can show it to you. Here it is. Just got the green light to officially apply for White House press credentials, personally referred by the Trump administration. The application is in and the date is set. The Next News Network has taken the fight for truth straight to D.C. Buckle up, folks. A new era is upon us. And there was a plane crash just happened. Here's Caroline Levitt. Let's see what she's saying.
Trump has been making breaking news. I have called over to my counterparts at the White House, and I can confirm that President Trump has been made aware of this situation. And tragically, it appears that a military helicopter collided with a regional jet at DCA Airport right here in Washington, D.C. That's all I can confirm at this point in time. And I can just say that the thoughts and the prayers of the entire Trump administration are with all those that are involved. And we ask the public in this area to please stand by for guidance from law enforcement and allow them to do their jobs as they attempt to save lives right now. Breaking.
Initial reports are coming in. Approximately only 2 or 3 survivors in that tragic crash. So say a prayer for all those affected. And here's somebody who appears to be affected by something else. A TikToker says Trump supporters aren't allowed in the international food aisles because they support deporting criminal illegals from the country. What? Okay.
I better not see you. If you're pro-Trump, I better not see you in the international section. Y'all don't get to reap the benefits of people you're kicking out of the country. If you're pro-Trump, I better not see you in the international section.
Yeah, you really scare me. And here we have J.B. Pritzker spreading disinformation, claiming Elon Musk did a certain salute from World War II Germans.
Those things mean. We have a very prominent figure who is very closely associated with the president standing up at a presidential rally and giving 2 Nazi salutes in a row. Now, if he didn't mean it, he should apologize. But he knows very well what those things mean. And even, again, if he didn't mean them, afterward you could say, and he should, I didn't mean that. That wasn't the symbol I was trying to show. Now, here's what I think about it. Neo-Nazis across the United States celebrated when he did that. That should be some indication to everybody about why this is so important for him to call out. Now, what has he followed up with? Jokes about Nazis. Jokes, like it's okay. And then showing up in a video presentation to the far right folks who are the most anti-Semitic in German politics, and and standing up for them and telling them, "I'm for you." That's bad for the United States. It's bad for Jews across the world. It's bad for Germany. And President Trump ought to be calling that out. If he doesn't agree with Elon Musk, if he doesn't agree with two Sig Heils at his own rally, and backing a party that backs Nazis, then he ought to say so. Why isn't Donald Trump speaking out?
Because he didn't do that. He doesn't need to, because you're spreading lies, Pritzker. You are spreading lies, and you are a disgrace. Here's another disgrace. Tim Kaine, the senator, telling federal employees to ignore Trump's offer to quit with pay.
And they received an email that said, from the administration, if you tender your resignation by next Friday, we will guarantee you payment through the end of September, whether or not you show up for work. So tender your resignation, and then, boy, it's just going to be a gravy train. You're just going to get paid for 7 months without working. The president has no authority to make that offer. There's no budget line item to pay people who are not showing up for work. This is a guy who made this promise to contractors again and again and again when he was a private business guy. Oh, come work for me on my casino. Come work for me in a hotel. We're going to do a handshake. We're going to do a contract. The contractor does the work and then finds out they get stiffed. So my message to federal employees who receive this is, yeah, the president has tried to terrorize you for about a week and then gives you a little sweetheart offer. If you resign in the next week, we're just going to pay you for doing nothing for the next 7 months. Don't be fooled. He's tricked hundreds of people with that offer. If you accept that offer and resign, he'll stiff you just like he stiffed the contractors. He doesn't have any authority to do this. Do not be fooled by this guy. You were here before he was here, and you'll be here after he was here. Show up for work, be diligent, serve Americans every day, make their life better, answer their phone call, give them an answer, track down their constituent call. Don't be fooled by a fake offer that because he's terrorized you in the last week, it would be easy to just resign now and get a check for 7 months, because I can tell you that promise is worth nothing.
What a jerk. That's Tim Kaine for you, though. What do you expect? I expect nothing less. So the signs are everywhere when Tim Kaine has to publicly beg federal employees to ignore Trump's directive. You know, the power structure is crumbling. The View's desperate attacks on Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. TikTokers melting down over Trump supporters. It's all part of the same phenomenon. The old guard is losing its grip. Even Twitter, now X, shows how the landscape has shifted, with Elon Musk confirming legacy media is dying, and for good reason. But here's what I want you to consider, and put it out in the comments below. When you see Democrat senators openly crying about Trump's ability to reshape Washington, what do they know about his next moves that has them so terrified? Rep your truth with our exclusive Mag Avengers gear, because some revolutions start with a statement. Available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. What's up? We got an interview coming up. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? I know you are. Because I am. Okay, let's get at this interview. Oh, yeah, you want a second? Okay, definitely give you a second on that. Reshaping it into a big boot. Voting machines are designed Congress is supposed to hold a purse. Trump is just doing what Congress should have been doing for years, but the point that the sweetheart resign offer may have overstepped Trump's authority. Going to bed after Gary and all, N3, you can sleep happy and comfortable tonight. Yeppers. Good night, Pothead Kenny. Pretzker is a liar. Timmy's insane. Tampon Tim. The other Tampon Tim. Oh, my. Virginia, you should be ashamed. Guess my foot works. Okay, Trump has never stiffed one contractor. They still spread the total lie. Unreal. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to hear will change how you think about money forever. $82 billion in gold is racing to New York, and the Bank of England can't deliver on its gold contracts, but that's just the surface. Our guest, Colin Plume, whose book Silver is the New Oil just hit #1 on Amazon. Well, he's here to reveal what's really happening. When the Bank of England tells its clients they'll have to wait months for their gold, you know something massive is unfolding, and tonight we're going to show you exactly why this could be the biggest wealth transfer in history. And while banks are running out of gold and central banks are dumping dollars, smart Americans are taking action. The signs are everywhere. England's gold shortage, China's massive precious metals purchases, and now Trump's tariff plans triggering a global financial reshuffling. This isn't just about protecting wealth, it's about securing your family's future in uncertain times. Noble Gold understands what's at stake, and that's why they're offering 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins with every qualified account. Don't wait until the banks say, sorry, we're out. Visit nextnewsgold.com or call the number 877-646-5347. That's nextnewsgold.com. Colin? Colin, welcome back to the show.
Great to be back.
Yeah, Colin, you sent me a link, New York Post. We're going to get to that in a second. $82 billion in gold is racing to New York. Your book, Silver is the New Oil, hitting #1 on Amazon. Congratulations on that. What's the one thing investors need to understand right now?
Well, the one thing I would say is that wealth, it always transfers to somewhere else. And I think that we're in a wealth transfer opportunity. What happened in England was shocking in that, you know, the article says it's about tariffs. It really has nothing to do with tariffs. It's that people wanted to take possession of their gold, right? People bought contracts with the idea that they own that gold. So they said, you know what, there could be tariffs. Maybe it's going to cost me more money. Let me get that gold back. And the Bank of England said, sorry, we don't have it. And people they're confused. They bought a contract that's supposed to be backed by gold. They should be able to get it whenever they want. And so I think the one thing that people need to keep in mind is that unless you hold the gold, you don't really own it. And that's what the Bank of England is proving. They're saying that there's a 4 to 8 week delay on people's gold that they've had contracts on for many years. And it's scaring people because it's saying like, well, wait a minute, aren't they doing audits? How much gold do they have? So people are concerned. And so I think the one thing is that you really need to own gold yourself. You don't want to buy it through a contract. You don't want to buy it through an ETF. Because these things do happen. I mean, this is a government mint that's involved in this transaction. So it's scary. They said 4 to 8 weeks, and then they had no more comments about what really is happening. So it's sending shockwaves through the bullion market.
So, okay, here's the story. The New York Post, they just broke $82 billion in assets moving to American soil ahead of the Trump tariffs, as you mentioned. Okay, so as someone deeply connected to these markets, what is really happening with this massive transfer? Is it because the Bank of London just doesn't have the actual gold and they've just been playing everybody?
Well, this is always the conversation we've had for many, many years is with these contracts that people are buying, is every ounce backed with a contract? And they're proving that it wasn't. There should never be a shortage situation on a contract. They should have it when it's purchased. And I know that they don't always have it because during COVID, I was buying 1,000-ounce silver bars, and I was competing with COMEX because they were trying to buy them. We were competing on bars. So I knew they weren't able to keep up. The silver was running up. They weren't they didn't have ounces behind every purchase that was happening. So this has happened before. You only see it is when a lot of people come and go, yeah, I want my gold. It reminds me a little bit of our fractional reserve banking situation where there's only a certain amount that we hold in our banks and the rest is being lent. But the idea behind a contract with gold is it's not supposed to be fractional. It's supposed to be every contract has gold behind it. And they have proven that that's not true. And so these investors are quite concerned. They want to take possession of their gold. They want to move it. The tariff situation is irrelevant, in my opinion. And I don't even understand how that got into the story. I think that's a New York Post
that's
push
part of the story,
because the UK, we're not even talking about tariffs with the UK at this point. So I don't understand how this plays into it. I think they wanted to throw Trump in to make the story bigger. But ultimately, it's concerning that they don't have, the real thing that these people bought.
So it's a 2-month delay to get assets out of those vaults. So
Correct.
what is this bottleneck? It's unprecedented. What does it tell us about the actual physical supply and the demand?
Yeah, I mean, I think what it shows is that there is tremendous demand out there. The thing that's always concerning to me is like, I know right now I can ship to anybody in the whole United States in a week. So why can't a governmental bank get metals to somebody in 2 months? I think that they've overbought. I don't think they have as much as they should have. I don't know how they're doing their auditing. They're not doing it in the way that I do it. I know how quickly I can get metals out. I've never had the only time I had a shortage was during COVID. And that was because no one was delivering. I was buying from all these mints all over the world. I couldn't get it here to get it back out, but I was able to lock in pricing. So I could lock in a price, but I was delayed because I was waiting on shipments. That's the only time I've ever had any kind of delay like this. So I would be concerned. It shows the demand is really high. I mean, gold is very close to its all-time high. So it shows the demand is quite high for metals. And you're seeing it. Safety assets are going up. The 10-year treasury is going up. Gold is going up. Silver.
Let's talk about that because the global financial shifts, central banks, they're dumping treasuries for gold. So how does this connect to what we're seeing in London?
Yeah, well, you're seeing China, you're seeing Japan, you're seeing even the US dumping treasury bonds because they believe that treasury bonds are going to go up even higher. That's what the 10-year treasury note going up this high is saying. The 10-year treasury note today is at this very close to the same price it was in 2008. And everybody remembers what happens in 2008. We had a massive collapse. So the markets, the bond market is saying treasuries are going to continue to go up. That's why they're dumping, because they believe they can buy it in the fives. They're waiting for it to continue to go up. So they think there's going to be more pain. And really what it comes down to is it's inflation. They believe we're in a heavy inflationary environment and they don't see any way out of it. I mean, Jerome Powell today admitted there's nothing he can do. His hands are tied. He can't lower rates. So the Fed last year was like, we're going to drop rates 4 to 8 times this year. And now he's saying, I have to go with the data. I don't know if I can drop rates. And President Trump's not going to be happy about that. He's going to try to push him to drop rates, but they're in an impasse. You lower rates, inflation goes up. You don't want to have runaway inflation. This is the problem. So I think the Fed and President Trump, they're in a pickle right now of what do you do? And obviously, as a real estate guy, lower rates would really help real estate. And real estate this year is going to be in a tremendous world of pain. I mean, there's this extend and pretend commercial real estate strategy is a real thing. It's happening this year. The last time it happened was 2008, 2009, 2010, which is basically the banks, you have a loan coming due and they just extend it for another year because they know that you can't refinance at the current rates. It's called extend and pretend. They can't recalibrate loans that were at 3.25% or 3.5% to 6% today. The math just doesn't work. All these properties would be underwater. So there's a lot of things. That's why this is like one of the most interesting weeks. And I'm so glad I'm on your show because so much happened this week. I can't remember one week where more things happened in the economic news. I mean, it's just, and then, obviously DeepSeek was fascinating and sent shockwaves.
I want to get to that in a second. I want to touch on the gold to silver ratio right now because gold's got near record highs. So what does this mean for silver? That is one of the focuses of your Amazon bestseller.
Yeah. So silver is the new oil. And I always tell people at the beginning, the book isn't saying silver is going to replace oil. What's saying is that if you look at the usage from silver to oil. They're very similar. There's a lot of parallels. And I believe the opportunity in silver is like the opportunity in oil was in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. When Colonel Drake found and created the way to pull oil out of the ground, and the J. Paul Gettys built all this wealth. That's my story. That's the story behind the book. And I lay out the argument of why that potential is. But really, the genesis of this book for me, Gary, was during COVID to today. I just looked at what the government can do and how they're stealing wealth by getting everyone away from assets. And I really, in my first few chapters, really talk about how the one with the most assets will win. It's really a real asset economy today. And I truly believe the majority of my wealth has been in real assets and real and uncorrelated assets. Yes, I have some real estate. Yes, I have precious metals. Yes, I own some companies, but it's in an untraditional way that I think wealth is built. And I think that's where wealth will continue to be built, is in these not traditional, I'm going to put my money in the stock market and stay there for 30 years. I think you have to get bigger returns. You have to get better returns. Inflation is higher than we've seen in a long, long time. So you have to be able to outpace those things. And so you need to have some assets to do that. And what I saw during COVID was it's just the government basically handing out money and aid and creating this, economy where they just created so much debt and they were just giving out so much free money that it was counterintuitive to how real wealth is built. And that was the genesis of the book. And then it leads into what I believe is a super cycle opportunity with the commodity of silver.
Now, let's talk about something else that's disrupting. We're talking about deep seek. This is the big keyword this week. It's rocking tech markets. How does this AI disruption affect precious metals? What's the correlation here?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, the name, I don't want to get too much, but the names, it sounds like a ship, or it sounds like a tanker, the deep seek, right? I mean, and it's exactly what it did. It sunk the stock market on Monday. I mean, we've never seen $600 billion in one company lost in one day in NVIDIA. It's never happened. It's literally never happened before. So I don't know if it has a direct correlation to gold and silver. What I will say is that for some
but those devices, don't those processors require precious metals to operate?
Yeah, they do. No, absolutely. And they will continue to be using them. I think what DeepSeek proved, when you look at the cost that ChatGPT and NVIDIA and all these companies, they said it's going to be billions of dollars. We have to invest all these billions of dollars, and it's going to cost $6 billion to have ChatGPT, and we need $6 billion. And then this company makes a competitor for $6 million. Wow. I mean, those are the numbers. Those are the real numbers. Now, did they steal it? I don't know. There's a lot to be said. They're investigating. But now the cat's out of the bag, right, Gary? I mean, once they've proven that they can do it for a fraction, someone else will do it at a fraction too, whether it's them or somebody else. So I think what they've done is they've sent shockwaves through the Magnificent Seven stocks and said, like, your AI dream and what we have to pay for it as an investor that's investing in this companies, it's overvalued. I don't need to pay that much. Wow. There's going to be someone that's going to do it at a fraction. I mean, they basically did it pennies on the dollar. And that's why NVIDIA crashed. That's why the market crashed on Monday. I mean, they tested it for a month. The thing came out a month ago. The first release, people were going, wait a minute, this kind of works. And then the release on Friday last week was like, wow, this thing really is, it's a competition. They're telling me I got to spend $50 a month on ChatGPT, or 100 or 200, depending on the level. And these guys are like, don't worry about that. We'll do it for free. Are they trying to steal some data? Are they trying to do a TikTok thing? Maybe. I don't know. Probably. But at the end of the day, someone's going to figure this out at a lower price. And it really is sending shockwaves. And if you look at the amount of money in the stock market, in the S&P, that is in that Magnificent Seven, if you go back 10 years, it was those 10 companies, it was like almost a little less than 10% of the S&P. Now they're about almost 35% of the S&P. They dwarf the growth. The growth story of the stock market has really been in these 7 companies. So it just talks about, it's not diversified. It's not a diversified market. And I don't know if this is the black swan event that hurts the stock market this year or what, but it's definitely raising some eyebrows with investors.
Yeah, you can see the headline, Financial Times, OpenAI says it has evidence that China's DeepSeek used its model to train competitor. That's pretty damning headline right now.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's ChatGPT is supposed to have a mechanism where if someone's doing like 200 tests in a short amount of time, it's supposed to shut down that account, and they didn't. So maybe they did seal it. Obviously we'll find out, they're going to find out what's going on, but I will say at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters. It shows that things can be done in a much less expensive way. And listen, we know that we've always paid for name brand things in a lot of different ways. Like look at Apple and Samsung phones, right? The whole world knows that Samsung phones are better, but we love Apple because we love the brand. So the world is going to catch up to this idea, and this is just the beginning, I believe, in a little crack in the armor that.
Well, here's Josh Hawley 5 hours ago. Why are we allowing American tech giants like Microsoft to help China develop DeepSeek and other AI? It's insane. We should ban the transfer of AI technology to China immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That was just put out 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
And we can talk about AI to EVs to solar. What about the percentage of silver that goes into those technologies?
Well, solar is the big one. You're looking at anywhere from 20 to 50 grams of silver per solar panel. And the thing, and I dive into that a lot in my book, is you look at a lot of this usage, solar panels is getting energy costs under control. That's really the idea behind it, is hopefully we can get to a point where energy costs aren't going up so 20, 30% every year. I mean, everybody's seeing it. Everyone's feeling it. So solar is here to stay. They're going to continue to put solar panels on most parts of the world. That's a pretty significant demand. Electric vehicles is obviously they use it in electric vehicles, but there's so many medical devices, obviously all the tech that we're working on today.
Well, look at this headline here. It says within the next 20 years, all known silver reserves will be used by the solar industry, or will it? That's from Silver Wars on X. And Jesse Simmons is here. He's commenting on the Hill events about that.
Well, and they're saying that what eventually will happen is that a lot of these EV companies will just start buying silver mines directly, right?
Wow.
I've heard reports that Elon Musk, that's something that he's going to be looking to do, is just buy directly and just cut out the middleman, because whoever controls these essential minerals and precious metals will eventually control the world. I mean, that's why the Middle East has really, really done well for the last, over 100 years. But now even Saudi Arabia and the UAE, they're all divesting from oil, right? They're looking into other income streams. They're building cities that people will come for hospitality. They're buying soccer teams. They're doing as much as they can. They're buying essential minerals. So even the countries that have profited the most on oil are looking to divest. So, and these are the things that I really talk about in the book as I get into all these different strategies. And then the last thing is the military. We don't know how much the silver is used in the military. I tried to find it, but they won't release it. And I know they use it in many of the missiles that we do, a lot of the droid, all the tech that they're using, but they won't release how much silver they actually need, because they don't want people to know and how much demand that it is. So
here's another post from Mother Silver Ape. Silver's at $44.39 an ounce plus premiums. That was 5 hours ago. The Canadian currency is failing. We all know it. Silver is still ever so cheap to buy. It holds its value across all international currencies, including US dollars. The best news is that silver has been price suppressed for 180 years. Bix Weir.
Yeah, we're at 91 to 1 gold to silver ratio. So it costs 91 ounces to buy 1 ounce of gold. During 2011, it was at 30 to 1, 31 to 1. So the average 100-year average is 50 to 1. So, I mean, even if it went anywhere near the average, I mean, silver's well over $100 an ounce, which would be going up 4 times where it is today. So, yeah, I think it's an opportunity market if you understand that commodities and real assets are going to do well. And this is the idea that I dive in a little bit in the book is just the World Economic Forum and all these the way that they tell you don't need to own assets and you can just rent and be a part of it. I really dispel those myths in my book that, and you look at it, you can look at it over time, but you can look at it, what's going on with the fires, like the people that are able to withstand and hold on and get back into their homes and keep those assets will win out long term. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't have other investments to kind of help them, right? They had a lot of their net worth in their home and they can't wait 4 years and they can't afford it, or they didn't have the right insurance. I mean, there's a million reasons. I mean, the whole insurance thing that's happened here in the state is of California is just, it's a debacle. But ultimately it's an asset economy. That's where we're going. And that's, I really get into that specifically in the book, but I think silver is looking at the charts. I just think it's got a tremendous opportunity right now.
Here's another headline from Financial Times. Commodities rush to stockpile gold in New York leads to London shortage. That's kind of scary when you read a headline like that. A shortage of gold in London. Rush to stockpile gold in New York leads to shortage. Total gold flows in the U.S. could be far higher than the COMEX numbers reflect, according to market participants, because they're likely to have been additional shipments to private vaults in New York owned by HSBC. So with these gold shortages happening, do you think that investors should shift to silver?
I mean, I think both metals are great. It's hard for me to just say one. I think if you're looking at just opportunity, and I'm just looking at today, gold is the safe haven. It's owned by central banks. It's always going to do well. It's always going to go up over time. But silver has tremendous. I mean, what other commodity can you buy in the world that's lower than its 1983 price? There's nothing. Wow. So I just think the opportunity is just, and also the premiums right now on coins and bars are the lowest it's been. I mean, the premiums are so low right now. It's just an amazing, buying opportunity for silver. And I'm excited about it. I also, in the IRA, like, let's say I'm right and silver goes to, $50 an ounce, and you do it in the IRA, you sell it, and then you go into gold, right? For instance, you do a silver to gold switch. We could do all that for you within the IRA, and that's all tax deferred. You don't have to pay any taxes. As long as it's in the IRA, we can do all that for you. So there's
that might change soon, because Donald Trump might be getting rid of the whole tax system and going to tariffs. I hope he does.
I would love it more than anything if he did. I mean, as someone that's paid his fair share, I think it would be great. But I think that it's an uphill battle to do it. I mean, we're changing something that's been around since 1913. And also we need to have enough income coming in to cover, right? So there has to be income coming from other places. That is part of the idea of tariffs. So we'll see what happens. But my big picture is that inflation is here. Paul Tudor Jones said it best in last November, billionaire hedge fund manager, gold buff. It's really, he says the thing is all roads lead to inflation. And the reason he says that is because if you look at this administration's goal, it's high growth, right? They're going for high growth. These are high growth strategies, but with high growth, you typically have high inflation. And so those are the things that you really have to look at. The other ways would be terrible, right? Low growth, high inflation, stagflation. Those are the things we don't want. But I think we're in a position right now where we can kind of see, and if he's going to continue to do the things, Trump is going to do the things that he's laid out, the growth should be there, but also inflation is going to follow suit.
Okay, physical metals versus ETFs. What is your recommendation given the current conditions?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a day trader, I get it. You want to move in and out of things, and that's fine. But for anyone that wants to have ultimate control of what they're doing, if they want to know these assets, and we sell bullion, coins, and bars, we don't sell any of these funny coins. This is going to get you the most value, the most bang for your buck, and you don't have to worry about trusting anybody. You own this. This is yours. And I think that's the thing that people really like, is that ultimate level of control. So I think in today, with what happened in London and, the fact that there's no gold there, I think it's hard to say that you're going to want a contract with gold. I think you want the real thing.
There's no gold there. That's terrifying to consider. Oh, yeah. Take it on possession without question. And that's what you guys
Absolutely.
specialize in too.
Yeah. By the way, we've done over $2 billion in 9 years of precious metal sales. We've shipped $1.2 billion in gold and silver to people's homes. Like, we know how to do it. We get it there. It's safe. So, we've done a lot of this. And then, the great thing is we had somebody last year who bought gold from us, and right at the beginning of COVID, wanted to switch into silver. He had almost a 7-figure profit, move from gold into silver at his choice. That was something he wanted to do. So those are things that you can do. We buy it back. So if you ever need cash, and listen, this year with gold up a lot of people are going to sell and do other things, or maybe start a business. There's just a lot of having assets gives you opportunities, right? So I also think that's the thing, and no issues with liquidity right now. Real estate. The one thing is, I love real estate. I own it. Liquidity is a problem. Right now it's a lot of people, if they need cash, they're going to sell their asset that's down. Do you want to sell it? Whereas you got that gold and silver, it's liquid any day. So it just gives you an extra edge. And that's why I think having uncorrelated assets, 5, 6, 7, 8 uncorrelated assets, gives you the best opportunity for tremendous wealth.
Okay, so final question. What is the biggest mistake you see investors making right now?
To do nothing. I think that no action is the biggest mistake that people can make, because I do think there is some red flags in certain industries. So I think doing nothing is the worst thing. I think getting educated is the best thing. I think that's the best thing they can do. Read books like mine, learn about new industries, create a different income stream. I think what happens is when things get a little scary, people put their head in the sand. You got to keep educating yourself. You got to keep learning. And you have to keep growing and creating opportunities for yourself and for your family, because ultimately the only person that's going to take care of your family is going to be you. And you have to look out for your family. You can't rely on the government. You can't rely on anything. So the key to protecting your family in a financial market like this, where we have $36.5 trillion in debt, is like, what are the opportunities that can help me keep up with inflation? What are the opportunities that can help me protect my family? And I think that's the number one thing people should be doing, is looking at ways to make sure their family is protected through this new economy, because indications are there. Inflation's here to stay. We could go through hyperinflation. Can you keep up? Can you pay for the increase in goods? These are things you have to think about. And a lot of the traditional ways that you make money, I think, are not going to get you there anymore.
Okay, so Colin, for our viewers who want to learn more, where can they find your book? I know you have a YouTube channel and, of course, your company website.
The book's on Amazon. You can also get the book through us. We have links where you can get the book. I will tell you, I made this book easy to read. I've been reading it with my 8-year-old son. Obviously, there's a few words in there that he doesn't understand. We're going through. But overall, I had to explain to him what nanny state was last night. That was fun. But overall, it's a great, easy book to read. Everyone's been kind of giving that feedback. A lot of charts, visualizations. Noble Gold Investments is our company, family business. I mean, you know us. We've been with you for, before Trump got elected the first time. And so, call us. And also, there's a lot of promotions. We have promotions on silver right now. We do it all in precious metals. If that's what you want to learn about, we do it all. We can help you. And, we're really here to educate people. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, but if you want to talk to a live person, just give us a call and we can answer any questions that you may have.
Colin, we appreciate your support here at the Next News Network. You've been a longtime sponsor of the program, and it's great to have you back talking about the latest in this headline right here. UK faces gold shortage as traders send $82 billion to New York in anticipation of Trump tariffs. So we'll have you back to talk more about these things as they develop. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Gary.
The revelations from tonight's interview are staggering. We're not just talking about a gold shortage. We're witnessing the collapse of the paper gold market. When Colin revealed that silver is still trading below 1983 prices while demand for solar panels and EVs is skyrocketing, is exposing the biggest market distortion in history. The Bank of England's 4 to 8 week delay in delivering gold isn't just a technical issue, it's a smoking gun. But here's what I want you to think about. and put this in the comments. When central banks are stockpiling gold and major financial institutions can't deliver on their promises, what do they know about the future of our currency that they are not telling us? Stand strong with our exclusive Mag Avengers collection because financial revolution needs warriors. Available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, folks. What do you guys think? Colin is a good guy. He's been a supporter of this channel for a very long time. I got a friend right now who's actually on the ground in D.C. He's at the airport, apparently, and all flights are halted. Getting the video right now from him. He just sent it to me. We just put up the tweet. Here's more from Reagan Airport. Let's see. Reagan National. Oh my goodness. Reagan National Airport. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Let's see. Let Chad know. Okay, take a look. I can bring it up here for you real quick. What we just got from the ground. My friend Chad is there. I just published this to the channel. This is his video. And he sent me another video. I think it should be available. It's still processing on X. Here it is. Here's more from Reagan National, another angle. Say a prayer for everyone. Pray that they find survivors, people survive this crash. Wow, look at all that police presence there. Let's see. On my phone right now, to clarify a few things. Pat 25 first started tracking near CIA headquarters. Unknown if it took off from there. Also unknown if there were any passengers on board, if it was just the pilots. This appears to be the flight path of the plane. And this appears to be the helicopter, perhaps. FAA News confirms mid-air collision. It was American Airlines Flight 5342. American Eagle flight collided with a DC police helicopter on approach. AA 5342, a Bombardier CRJ 700 with a capacity of 68 to 73 passengers. Pray for survivors. This video was from... okay, so there's a note here. DC police confirmed it was not their helicopter. Fox News confirmed it was, in fact, a Sikorsky VH-60 military helicopter. Here's more video. I don't know if this is the actual moment. It's hard to tell if this is the actual moment it happened. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh man. Oh man. Oh my goodness. So sad. Here's someone else live on the ground.
Okay. I'm live down here, the train station at Potomac Yard, and kind of right across the river from this crazy airplane mid-air collision crash. So quick moment of silence for all the lives lost, especially if this thing crashed into the water. Just terrible news. And we just got a report that the trains are delayed. No trains are running into the airport, right? But yeah, you can see maybe a little better shot here. Yeah, the trains are running, but they're not going to the airport right now. There's a delay because of this. Here, I'll give you a better shot. So that's the river out there. Police are obviously blocking off a lot of the roadways to go over.
Yeah, that's one of the Posobiec brothers,
and
Kevin.
Can't get too close here, but as you can see, there's just sirens everywhere. There's a chopper in the sky. It looks like hopefully they're getting to perform some search and rescue. Yeah, right now, crash happened just around 9 p.m. I'm hearing that one of the planes had about 60 people on it, and then 4 personnel. You could see way in the background, that's the Capitol. And yeah, just a live look at the scene from Reagan Airport. I'm at the Potomac train station, just aside the airport. All the planes are grounded. You can kind of see the chopper going around. Just sirens everywhere. Looks like everything's blocked. Yeah, we want to know how did this happen? How did this happen? It's just a total loss, total failure of the system, really. Total failure. Like, how could we let this happen in the nation's capital in such a period of time as this, too? Like, right after the inauguration. Not good. Not good. Makes me think, who was on this flight? Who was on the helicopter? I mean, you know, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here, but these are questions we got to ask. Like, this is a mid-air collision. Yeah, I think it was runway 33, so I'm assuming it was a slightly smaller aircraft. To be at such a lower altitude, like to even cross paths with a helicopter, like, I don't get that. Oh, the comments, can you still do that? No, I can't do that. Jeez. It looks like somebody retweeted me now. But, yeah, we're down here at the crash for now. Again, I'm at the Potomac train station, as close as I can get. For now, you can see there's a chopper in the sky there. Hopefully, getting some reconnaissance. Maybe shining a spotlight on the actual crash area. Hopefully, both both vehicles are somewhat floating, and there are some survivors. Can't really tell. You can see the reflection of the water there of the river. And yeah, I'm gonna try and get a little closer here in a minute, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. All the planes are grounded. There's not a plane in the sky, as you can see. Not a plane in the sky, and the trains are also not going towards the airport. But yeah, if I had to estimate, that's at least like 100 squad cars. There's just sirens. I mean, I'm half a mile away here, so, and you could still see like so many sirens, and that's like all along the bank there, all along the bank. I tried to go across into the airport, and of course the police have that covered, so I can't even drive onto the airport. So if you have a flight, you got to redirect it. Tune into the news. See where you could reroute. But yeah, this is a tragic event. Seems like a tragic loss of life as well. 60 plus people, on the plane. Hopefully it wasn't too tragic. We don't know right now. We don't know exactly right now. Okay, that does look like a boat over there.
Kevin Posobiec, live at the airport right there. American Airlines flight 5342, 60 souls on board. Collided midair with a Sikorsky H-60 Army helicopter with 3 on board while on approach to Reagan Washington National Airport, 9 p.m. Eastern. Reagan shut down all flights until 5 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. Oh my goodness. Wow. And of course, the left is already out attacking President Trump. A contributor to Politico magazine and New York Magazine, Trump's dangerous freeze of air traffic control hiring. Yeah, I'm sure that had everything to do with it. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem deploying every available U.S. Coast Guard resource for search and rescue efforts in this horrific incident at DCA. Kyle Becker says the military helicopter should not have been in this airspace, particularly without air traffic control clearance. Let's find out the facts about what happened. But all I know is that I'm not a fan of coincidences. I'm assuming this is an incident. Don't prove me wrong. Quite the political timing for an aircraft disaster. These are the kinds of things that get Americans asking questions. I noticed someone in the chat said this was a flight from Kansas. Let's see if we can find any more information. This was American Airlines flight. Let's see. American Airlines flight. Copy. Let's see here. What we can find real quick. Do a search. See if we can find out any information about that flight. Let's see. Where's search? Okay. American Eagle Flight 5342 en route from Wichita, Kansas to Washington was involved in an accident. 5342. Scheduled arrival 9:03 p.m. That is when it was. This is the official flight manifest from Search, Wichita to Washington. Supposed to arrive at 9:03, and it never made that arrival. God. Flying from Wichita My question is, who was on the flight? You know, who was on that flight? I certainly hope no one of importance. I mean, any live loss is obviously certain. I mean, we have to take great care and concern for all lives lost. But obviously, if we have a prominent politician or a corporate person, you know, that just raises the stakes. And let's see here. 42 degrees as crew search for survivors. Army Black Hawk. Aircraft down. Desperate search for survivors. Collides with helicopter. Wichita passenger flight. American Airlines subsidiary plane crashes near D.C. Wow. Let's see if we got any more. Okay, this is from Twitter, formerly Twitter. Plane inbound involved. I'm in contact with authorities. Pray. Say prayers. Regional jet. Tragic accident. Wow. AA flight collided, shows as a flight on the American Airlines app. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to be going to that airport in a couple weeks. That's what's just scary. You think about just going for just taking a plane ride, right? And then this happens. Oh my. Oh boy. Folks, I got to run. I'm going to keep track of this. And thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. Jason said no VIPs. Okay. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have witnessed tonight isn't just news, it's history unfolding in real time. On this historic day 10 of President Trump's return to the White House, we've seen exactly why the establishment's in full panic mode. So let's recap what we've uncovered. President Trump's executive orders are reshaping America's landscape. 30,000 beds at Guantanamo Bay for illegal aliens. The ban on radical gender surgeries for minors and cutting federal funding for CRT in schools. This is what real leadership looks like. We watch RFK Jr. absolutely demolish Senate Democrats, exposing the truth about our healthcare system while revealing Trump's personal commitment to ending America's chronic disease epidemic. And when Elizabeth Warren had her meltdown about Big Pharma, she showed exactly whose interests she really serves. And the immigration battlefront is heating up. ICE raids sweeping through sanctuary cities while Marines deploy razor wire at the border. Governor Pritzker, he can try to help illegals change their names, but the days of sanctuary city protection are numbered. And Trump's new administration is taking shape. Lee Zeldin heading the EPA, Pam Bondi advancing as Attorney General. The deep state's fighting back hard, but they're losing ground with every confirmation. And of course, our explosive interview with Colin Plume with Noble Gold revealed the truth about the global gold crisis. $82 billion in gold racing to New York while the Bank of England can't deliver on its contracts. It's not just a shortage, it's a paradigm shift. So to everyone tonight who sent in your super chats and Rumble rants, $96.99. We almost made 100. Almost. But we see you, we hear you, and we thank you. Your support keeps this truth machine running. And for those who haven't yet, remember your donation helps continue bringing you the news the mainstream media won't touch. You can visit Give, Send, Go or through PayPal in the links in the description. Don't forget to grab your exclusive Mag Avengers merch at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Wear your patriotism proudly and let everyone know where you stand in this fight for America's future. To all our new channel members, welcome to the family. Your support helps us bypass big tech censorship and keep delivering you the truth. If you haven't joined yet, hit that join button for exclusive perks and special access to the Next News team. Remember, they can't silence the truth when we stand together. So share the stream, tell your friends, and join us in this fight to save America. We'll be back tomorrow with more explosive revelations. Until then, this is Gary Franchi for the Next News Network. God bless you, and God bless America.